It's been an interesting week as the Canadian government gets set to return to Parliament on Monday, September 15th. And Mark Carney's government just rolled out 5 Build Canada Strong mega projects with great fanfare on Thursday from the MSM and others. He claims this first batch of nation building ventures will turbocharge the economy and add over 60 billion Canadian and create tens of thousands of jobs. These were actual quotes from Mark Carney this week. It sounds impressive, doesn't it? But not so fast because the reality behind these projects is far less groundbreaking. In fact, every one of these projects was already in the works long before Mark Carney's actual announcements were made on Thursday. You heard me right. These are all already underway. Now, critics argue that he's simply rebranding and taking credit for existing initiatives rather than launching anything truly new. And I don't disagree with that. That's exactly what's happening here. It's a classic political move. Slap a fresh label on old projects, then call it a bold new plan that you came up with. To make matters even worse, some observers smell a bit of a conflict of interest in some of these projects. If you've watched recent episodes by Moose on the Loose, you know what I'm talking about. Carney built his career in high finance. He even worked, of course, for Brookfield Asset Management and still holds deferred shares in that company. Interesting to look up what their missions and goals are, especially as it pertains to projects in net zero. Detractors suggest he's prioritizing projects that align with his own investments like LNG and infrastructure while conveniently snubbing things like oil pipelines that don't fit his Brookfield portfolio and others.
Oh shit, we're already going. Well, I guess we're back there. What the fuck? When did we? I'm so cooked.
Already in the works
I'm
long
so cooked.
before Mark Carney's actual announcements were made on Thursday. You heard me right. These are all already underway. Now, critics argue that he's simply rebranding and taking credit for existing initiatives rather than launching anything truly new. And I don't disagree with that. That's exactly what's happening here. It's a classic political move. Slap a fresh label on old projects, then call it a bold new plan that you came up with. To make matters even worse, some observers smell a bit of a conflict of interest in some of these projects. If you've watched recent episodes by Moose on the Loose, you know what I'm talking about. Carney built his career in high finance. He even worked, of course, for Brookfield Asset Management and still holds deferred shares in that company. Interesting to look up what their missions and goals are, especially as it
I
pertains to
mean, no, not
projects in net
this.
zero. Detractors suggest he's prioritizing projects that align with his own investments like LNG and infrastructure while conveniently snubbing things like oil pipelines that don't fit his Brookfield portfolio. Now, of course, he'll say there isn't a buyer for oil yet, and that's why, but it probably never will come up. We'll dig into that in a moment, but first, let's break down these 5 projects one by one and see why they might not actually move the economic needle at all. Let's go. Welcome to Bakes on Things. Welcome
Very
back
gay,
to
but
a weekend edition of Bakes on Things. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Now you can hype this video and, of
that's
course, join the
basically what it
conversation
looks like in here.
in the
If we
comments
do
down
this,
below. Well, construction has begun at the LNG Canada export terminal
a little
in
bit of
Kitimat,
backlight
BC. It's right on your screen here.
actually kind of evens things out.
Carney touts it as a brand new project of his nation building plan. That's very interesting because there's a similar story on the other 4 as well. But
That
Carney's
actually
claim
kind of
here
does
is
it.
that he'll expand the LNG Canada facility in Kitimat, BC, phase 2, of course, to double its output, making it the world's second largest LNG
Probably want
export terminal.
that.
He says
There
this
we
will
go.
diversify trade. It will meet global demand for low carbon energy and support tens of thousands of new high paying careers. tens of thousands. But most of it's not new because construction's already underway. Essentially, Carney wants to turn Canada into an energy superpower, he says, by shipping liquefied natural gas to Asia and Europe, which all seems great, but when we look into our first reality check of the day, this project is nothing new. The first phase of LNG Canada began construction back in 2018 and shipped its first LNG cargo in mid-2025 this year. Phase 2, though, has long been anticipated. The operators have already hired engineers and been working on it pending a final investment decision. It's literally right there. But as Carney himself admitted, the proponents behind each of these projects
This chair sucks
haven't
ass.
really
Actually, my
done
floor sucks. I
much
need
of
a
the
fucking...
hard work. So
What?
he did say that.
Somebody yelling at me? Is it a robot yelling
I
at
think
me?
he was hoping you wouldn't
Is that Gladys?
Unfortunately, that's not
This
the way
was
this
a
works
dry
here.
out.
Because in other words,
Can
Carney
this mission
isn't
leave me alone
starting
now,
with
or what's the
LNG
fucking
exports.
problem here?
He's hopping on a train that left the station years ago. What about these tens of thousands of jobs, though? Because that's literally a quote from his press conference. That number is wildly optimistic. Yes, LNG terminal construction employs a lot of tradespeople. Phase 1 peaked at a few thousand workers. But once operational, an LNG facility only needs a few hundred staff. So what about the future?
I needed to look
Mark?
something up here.
Even counting indirect jobs,
I need to
and
look up this
supply
fucking
chain
mission.
and other
Dreams of the
jobs,
Deep.
tens of thousands is a hell of a stretch. The bottom line here is that LNG Canada Phase 2 was likely to proceed with or without Carney. And its economic impact, well, that's positive, but won't single-handedly transform Canada's job market in any way. It's a solid project, of course, but hardly a Carney masterstroke here. It was already under development. And let's note the politics as well. Carney's list conspicuously omits any new oil pipelines. He says it's because there's no investors yet for that, but the focus on LNG is curious instead, isn't it? Why? Perhaps because Carney and his allies prefer gas over oil. They always have. They prefer that be sold as lower carbon than coal or oil. Or, as some critics insinuate, Carney's personal investments certainly favor LNG infrastructure as well. In fact, one columnist has already pointed out about Carney that he says is all about LNG gas pipelines because that is what he's personally invested in. We don't disagree. Meanwhile, oil pipelines, which Carney's former employer Brookfield doesn't ever or heavily invest in domestically, they seem to only invest in U.S. pipelines, got left on the cutting room floor, surprisingly enough. Not. Whether coincidence or not, it raises eyebrows about whose interests are actually being served here. Okay, project number 2, let's talk Darlington. Uh-oh, already under construction. Oh, that's weird. Carney's second pick is the Darlington New Nuclear Project in Ontario. Specifically, they want to build Canada's first small modular reactor, or an SMR, at the existing Darlington station, which is fine. It already exists. But this needs a lot of construction, and most of it's permitted and underway. This one comes with big promises. The first operational SMR in the G7, pumping $500 million annually into Ontario's nuclear industry, providing clean power to
Okay, I just
300,000
read up what we have to do.
homes and sustaining 3,700 jobs annually.
It doesn't
plus
fucking...
18,000 claimed new jobs.
Okay, so first you do a freighter, which we did,
of this project,
because we're fucking psychic
the
like
other
that.
claim is those jobs will
And then
last
you
for
do
decades.
3
Okay,
sunken
well,
buildings,
if those figures sound impressive,
and then you
they
scan
are.
3 times
But
within
then you gotta
100
read the fine print.
units of each
The
other,
3,700
and
jobs
then
include
you get a
every
structure
role in
that
the
finishes the
nuclear
mission
supply
that gives
chain
you all
and
the
lasts
buildings
for
things.
65 years. And those 18,000 construction jobs are likely a cumulative count.
How the fuck
over
was
the
I gonna figure that out by
multi-year
myself?
period, not
That's
18,000
literal insanity.
people all employed at once.
How far is this
because
shit?
of this project. So let's get into our reality check on this.
Bro,
one.
it puts everything
The
10 minutes
SMR
away from me.
project
Like,
was
how am I
well
supposed to
underway
fucking do this?
long before Mark Carney. They were all
How do you not want me to
construction.
get out of this thing that you
Ontario
want me to
Power
do the
Generation
missions in? And
selected the
like, am I
reactor
doing it
design
wrong?
with
Does this thing have a
the
fucking
Hitachi
boost
BWRX-300
fucking hyper mode?
back in 2021 during the pandemic, and even started site
The
preparation
fuck?
in 2022. By April of this year,
Separation
just
H.
before Carney's announcement this week, the project had already secured a federal construction license and provincial approvals. So, what
Annoying
does this
game is
mean for
annoying.
this project
It's
again?
not bad though.
In
At
fact,
least it's the
construction
progress
literally
saves. That's
began
my
in late
point.
2022 on preliminary
Play this
works,
game for 7
and
years on and
Ontario
off.
Power
Everything's
Generation
still
expects the first
the
unit
same way I fucking
operational
left it.
by 2028
Very
2029.
nice. You know,
So,
may not be the
Carney's
most
contribution
complicated,
here
most.
is basically to show up with a ribbon cutting and a thumbs up. That's
You know,
not really getting things done in this country, Mark. I'm sorry to say, but they were already done for you.
you're
And
right,
don't
bro.
get me wrong, expanding this nuclear capacity is a good move for clean energy and will sustain jobs in the long run. But Carney listing this as one of his 5 new projects is incredibly disingenuous. As one journalist put it, genuinely unclear to me what the value here is to the Darlington SMR, which already has a federal environmental approval and where construction has already begun. Well said, sir. Exactly. The SMR was moving forward, with or without this
Silicate and salt. That makes
financial
sense. What is this?
leadership and
Fucking a
federal funding
diatomaceous.
from
Is that this
2022. More than
planet?
$1 billion for
Set.
the Canada
Oh yeah, this double
Infrastructure Bank
planet sunset
was
or
committed
sunset.
long ago.
Planet set.
Carney's announcement adds no
A double
new
planet set.
acceleration here. It's like a politician cutting
That's
the
cool.
ribbon at a factory that's
Cool.
been building itself for years. What
Cool.
are you doing? None of this is new. The timeline also completely undermines turbocharge the economy narrative because it can't. This reactor won't produce power or substantial new jobs until the end of this decade. What economy are you turbocharging? My grandkids' economy? So if you're expecting an immediate economic jolt, well, you might want to look away from this project. Carney essentially touted a project that's already in the bag and won't be.
This looks like ass. It looks like I'm
for several years now. It's more victory
looks like I'm
lap than it is
driving through smoke.
But who here is really surprised?
No Man's Sky.
Driving to
Wow.
the Port of Montreal
Wow.
again?
Wow. Oh, it's such an amazing
Shovels to the
experience.
ground already.
Oh my god, I'm
Here.
selling retail and
Carney
fucking
highlighted
antiques.
the
Wow.
container terminal that's being built
Wow.
in Montreal, a major expansion of the Port of
Wow.
Montreal in
I'm very
Quebec.
wealthy and have a
It's
very
supposed to
comfortable
boost
life.
the port's
Wow.
capacity by 60%. Wow, that's great. Open new trade routes, of course, too.
I'm
For
gonna
Eastern
get out of
Canada.
here.
Also, it's
Jesus
gonna strengthen
fucking
supply chains,
Christ.
create thousands
Relax.
of jobs, and generate $140 million annually for the economy.
What's your
Wow.
problem?
This is one heck
What's
of
your
a
fucking
project.
deal?
Building out our trade infrastructure is important. I'm not making fun of that. But again,
We gotta
this
find. We
project
gotta follow
has
the
been in
lost
pipeline
crew. Oh
for
wow,
years.
so into it. Psych.
Nothing new. So,
Oh, I gotta
now
do the
it's
same
set
thing
for
I've been doing
everything,
since
Mark.
7
The
years
Montreal
ago
port
when I started
expansion
this game.
has long been planned and partially
Like, let's just
funded
put
already.
things in the game willy
The
nilly,
Canada
and then 7 years
Infrastructure
ago,
Bank
7 years
invested
later, we'll
$300
give it a
million
purpose.
in this project way
Cool.
back in 2019.
It'll make the player feel stupid
Not
for
even
never
in the
doing, for not
2020s.
realizing
And
it.
by 2021, it had federal environmental approval already. In 2023, the federal and Quebec governments announced $280 million combined funding to get it going. So that's why the shovels are already in the ground. It's not a new project. The Montreal Port Authority already partnered with a private operator, DP World, to build and run the
DP
terminal.
World.
There is literally nothing left to do.
Oh, Eiffel
on this
Tower
project,
land.
which is why he will say he successfully started it. In fact, site preparation already started here in 2025, and major works are scheduled
Alright,
in
I'll do this
2026.
again.
In other words, shovels were practically in the ground by the time Carney had even thought about announcing projects like these.
Echo
So,
water.
what's new then? Well, basically nothing, except now Carney can pose with a hard hat and say it's part of his
Can this thing like
nation-building
bump
agenda.
boop
And
these
looky here,
motherfuckers?
what we got done, except that it was
Fuck you,
already being
bitch.
done from
No,
the early 2020s.
not even
The
close.
project would proceed regardless, but he's eager to stamp his name on it and call himself
Oh,
a
okay.
hero.
There's one
The
that's
thousands
not
of jobs cited,
the other side of the fucking
well, they're
planet.
mostly temporary construction jobs. A study estimated about 8,000 jobs during construction and 1,200
Feels
permanent
good. That means
jobs
we're doing the
in
right thing
operation
here.
for the port. That's a lot different. great for the local economy, but it's a drop in the bucket nationally. To put it into some kind of perspective here, 1,200 long-term jobs across Canada is basically a rounding error in our employment stats given every month. And the $140 million
Terrible.
per year in economic benefit, well,
The hell?
how big
Why
is
can't I go
that?
down
It's
now?
welcome, of course, but it's
Oh,
modest
okay.
on a national scale. Kearney is hyping it as a pillar of growth,
My
but it's
Humboldt
really
drive,
just a
like a
regional
Humboldt squid.
infrastructure upgrade that was
I need to make a
already
hydrothermal fuel
underway,
cell. Can you give me
already
a
being
fucking
built.
break?
Necessary, of
Oh,
course.
thanks.
Transformative,
There it
no.
is. There's the
It
break.
seems the only thing new here
Perfect.
is
Anyway,
Kearney's attempt
so it
to
says the
claim
Mabel, I
credit
says.
for it. And then, of course, we go to our critical minerals, mines projects. They're small projects with, I'm sorry, but a small impact.
Wow.
Kearney's 4th and 5th picks are in
Wow.
the critical minerals sector specifically.
I just want to build my
Foran
base,
Mining's,
man.
and I'm going to get this wrong,
How do you make me do
Macavena
this?
Bay
How are you doing this
project
to
in
me?
Saskatchewan, and an expansion of the Red Chris copper gold mine in BC. These are framed as securing Canada's supply of critical minerals for clean tech. Think things like copper in EVs and zinc for
I'm
industry,
so glad it
etc.
continues.
With Indigenous partnerships being touted as well here.
Bullshit.
And it's funny that they already tout that they have those partnerships. It's because these were already underway, as you can see.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, there it is. Right
And it's
there.
like you're partnering with like
New copper zinc mine, aiming
corrupt
to be
chiefs.
Canada's
Like
first net zero carbon neutral
you're
copper
not
mine.
bragging
Okay?
about
It will
anything.
create 400
Nobody on the res
jobs.
is like, wow, wow.
400.
There's one
And for
native
downstream
university in
smelting
Canada. It's on the
Quebec.
west coast.
Indeed,
There's
the
nothing on
federal
the east
government
coast. There's nothing in
invested
northern
$41
Canada.
million in this project, but they did it in early 2025 to support clean mining.
Plus, it's like
technology,
any other university. You
not
gotta pay
during
$6 million
this
to get a
initial
degree that
rollout
might
of projects.
be fucking bunk.
And that's
What's the
highlighting
point of
that it
that?
will maintain nearly 400
The fuck is the point of
full-time
that?
jobs for the region, which
I got a
for the
philosophy degree. I
region
could be
is
a
very
philosophy
good.
teacher.
I'm not saying that. That's good news for
That's
Saskatchewan.
basically it.
200 jobs in a rural area is significant.
I'm an
locally.
Anglisher. What's
But
that?
here's the thing.
really good at
The
English.
reality, once
Wow.
more,
How much
is
did that
this
cost?
mine was
$200,000.
already halfway
Oh.
built by the time Kearney's
Okay.
announcements were made. Foran Mining began construction earlier, and as of August 2025, this project was over 50% complete. Yeah, almost halfway done.
Come on, game.
Permits were secured before Kearney even took office. So including it on the list is basically Kearney piggybacking on a project of his predecessors that was moving ahead on its own, whether he was here
Where
or
the
not.
fuck is it?
400 jobs, while valuable in the mining sector,
I can't
is
see. I'm
microscopic
blind.
in the context of Canada's overall
I'm
employment.
fucking. Oh, there it is.
This mine will contribute to critical mineral
2 minutes.
supply, yes, but it's not an economic game changer for the nation, as Mark Kearney tries to tout.
Do something
that it
cool.
is. And then when we move over to the
Very
Red Chris
cool.
mine expansion
Very
in
gay.
Colombia, well, that's an expansion of an existing copper and gold mine.
20 minutes? What if I do this? What if I do this? Actually, that makes more sense. It gives me more of a runway if we do it that way. Okay, wait. Okay, wait. This is the future is now. The future of gaming is now. The future is now. Okay, yeah, it actually worked. Future is now. Okay, wait, I did that wrong. It's like I would have been there by now. It's like I got determined to do this. The future is. Can you just get like a normal jump or climb in here? Okay, the future. The future is. Oh, this is spinning at the. Also doesn't help. The future is now.
What do we make of all of this?
Elbow boost kind of worked. How does it hurt me to fall in the water?
On this one too, Red Chris's expansion has been in planning by its owners for years. It too is already under construction. It's
feeling launch thrusters. Yeah, because this fucking mission's causing me to fucking launch every 5 seconds, bro.
Nothing else, not by Ottawa's sudden blessing of this
Okay,
project.
metal plating, that's fine.
The main holdup was ensuring support from the local Indigenous nations. And those discussions all predate Mark Kearney. There's no huge new federal investment here. The Major Projects Office,
Truth.
supposedly, might help coordinate permits or get final signatures.
I need to drink some water because I've
been
been rendered parched by this coffee and
the job numbers,
other
well,
things.
they sound decent, but 1,500 short-term construction jobs and 800 long-term, I'm not so sure. Note that Red Chris already employs hundreds of people. Are they included in that number? The expansion largely sustains existing jobs for a longer period rather than actually creating thousands of brand new positions. It's important for BC's mining industry, yes, but on a national scale, 800 jobs is completely trivial. Canada has over 20 million workers. In summary to all of this on these projects is that these two mining projects in particular are solid incremental developments, sure, for the local regions especially. They'll contribute copper and zinc for the green economy and provide stable employment in those communities. But in terms of building Canada strong, let's be real, they barely register at the macro level. Together, we're talking on the order of 1,200 ongoing jobs, 400 plus 800, and some short-term construction boosts for now, but not into the long term. That's not remotely close to transforming the Canadian economy or replacing the jobs lost in many of our other sectors. We lost over 60,000 jobs last month. And again, both projects were already in motion. Carney's announcement didn't launch these projects at all. If anything, he's just ensuring they get fast-tracked paperwork at the best of times and nothing more. As one observer dryly noted, the inaugural list mostly rebrands work already underway rather than speeding anything new up.
Sounds about right.
Reality here. That's exactly right. So, are there hidden agendas here?
Yeah.
This is interesting because, and apologies for the slide there, this is interesting because Carney has, of course, ties to a lot of these projects. It's worth scrutinizing.
Just like fucking Trudeau giving out money to fucking Arrive Can.
LNG.
Whoops, they got away with the money. We loaned them $320 million and they did nothing. We're just the government. What can we do about it? They got away. They somehow got away with it. We're investigating it.
Here we go.
After we all go on vacation together with the guys, we're going to investigate them, probably, if we remember. By the way, how about that bonus? We need a bonus. You keep voting for us, so we need another bonus, right? Because you keep voting for us. We're clearly doing something right. Anyway, time for another vacation, and we'll get back to you on that one.
Episode. If you haven't watched it, I strongly encourage you do. Comes into play here.
Moose on the Loose. You know what? Moose on the Loose, all these guys started showing up exactly when people are like, oh, the government's making a huge play to just fucking invest in YouTube talking heads. Are we almost done, bro?
Asset management position.
Okay, now we're going.
Is a global infrastructure.
Yeah, exactly. Talk about Brookfield, all his.
Exactly what they do. On top of being a
yeah.
manager. Upon becoming PM, of course, Carney had to set up an ethics screen to avoid benefiting Brookfield, explicitly agreeing not to further the interests of Brookfield Corp or its subsidiaries.
But still being part of it, profiting from it. It looks like this is the best option according to the research. It seems like our companies need to get these private government contracts. It's private because corporations have privacy because they're human entities, just like you. And everybody needs their privacy.
Brookfield's interests here because they really do seem to. Brookfield, for instance, invests heavily in infrastructure and, of course, energy transition projects, exactly the kind that are on Carney's list. Brookfield's portfolio includes natural gas pipeline. They bought a major U.S. pipeline, as we remember, and that network is for $9 billion purchase. That's a lot. And that's
3 now.
In our country.
Yeah, that's 3, and now we got to do 3 normal scans.
Brookfield partly owns Westinghouse, a nuclear tech firm, and ports and logistics worldwide. So when Carney pushes LNG exports and high-profile infrastructure builds, skeptics are right to quip that until Carney finds a way of involving Brookfield, there wouldn't be a chance in hell that a pipeline will be on this list and built under his watch. In other words, he'll champion
100 units apart. How big is one unit?
That do not. Now, to be fair here, Carney is also likely motivated by policy, transitioning from oil to gas, for example. But the optics are bad. He has 574 disclosed potential conflicts of interest, including stakes in hundreds of companies that would be related to these projects. The opposition has hammered him for being sneaky about his finances, and rightfully so, because the sneakiness continues. When he leaves out all pipelines, which Brookfield isn't involved in, at least not in this country, and instead backs an LNG expansion that requires pipelines and export terminals, Brookfield could invest in all of these things. Tongues start wagging when that happens. And it doesn't help that Carney's former company stands to benefit indirectly if Canada focuses on the very sectors that Brookfield likes, like clean energy and critical minerals, of course. So, whether or not Carney intended to benefit Brookfield here, well, he's certainly given ammunition to those who say his plan is designed to enrich Bay Street and his buddies and not Main Street Canadians. At the very least, it's clear
How big is
he's
100 units, bro?
selectively picking winners based on his vision and perhaps his Rolodex, rather than letting the market decide what we truly need. And that brings us to the next issue, the new bureaucracy overseeing all of these projects, the Major Projects Office. Look, what can we say about this office other than it's another bureaucratic office to stand in the way? To deliver these initiatives, Carney has established this office, a shiny new Major Projects Office. The idea is a one-stop shop to fast-track nation-building projects, compressing federal approvals into under 2 years with a one project, one review process. The problem with these projects, of course, is they're already underway. So I guess that's way under 2 years. So
Oh wait, 100 units. Okay, I'm going way too far.
Just pick the low-hanging fruit. In theory, this is meant to cut through the red tape that has bogged down big projects in Canada for ages. In theory. But here's the reality check on this one. So far, the MPO's office, the debut of this office has been pretty underwhelming and even counterproductive. By choosing 5 projects that were already largely approved, then what we're asking the MPO to do here is to not really have to actually test its ability to speed anything up, because they're already underway. As analysts have noted, for those initial projects that Carney announced, the work of the Major Projects Office will be to close final regulatory gaps, essentially just coordinating the last steps of these projects that would have been coordinated by somebody anyway. There was no full federal review to streamline because those reviews were done years ago. No red tape to get out of the way of these projects because they've already been cut. Meanwhile, other investors and industries not on Carney's VIP list are asking, what about our projects? The MPO creates a 2-tier system. A few hand-picked national interest projects by the Liberals get fast-tracked, but the rest remain stuck. And stuck in our usual glacial bureaucracy as it stands today. Now add a new layer. If anything, this does add that new layer of politicization of all of these projects. Companies now feel they need to lobby the government to anoint their project as worthy of MPO help, rather than fixing the system overall for everyone so these projects can move forward. It's the government picking the winners and losers here, which is exactly the criticism Carney has faced on all of this. One policy expert said Carney's approach here is to establish a new parallel regime instead of truly reforming permitting laws in this country.
Use the Nautilon. Okay, I thought it says don't use the Nautilon.
Another step in the process. It's another government bureaucracy standing in the way. Even some in industry worry the MPO might become just another bureaucratic filter. The office itself is an added entity in the way. It could slow things down if it becomes a bottleneck or power struggle point between agencies. The early reviews are pretty harsh.
It says it used the Nautilon.
Bureaucratic delay, then meaningful action will come from this office. One report said this of the MPO already after its launch. After months in power, Mark Carney unveiled yet another layer of red tape.
God says don't use the Nautilon.
Instead of delivering actual results. At what point are Liberal supporters going to see this stuff? I mean, really ouch here for our economy. Like, ouch. The Conservatives certainly aren't impressed by any of this. They argue we'd be better off simply repealing anti-development laws and cutting red tape for all projects, rather than funneling a few projects through a special office. And I happen to absolutely agree with that. In fact, they plan a Canada Sovereignty Act we talked earlier about in an episode this week to override federal barriers and get projects built the old-fashioned way by removing the government hurdles entirely, not adding new offices to review everything once again. Their critique? Carney's Liberals are more interested in picking winners and losers than creating conditions for true and actual sustainable growth in this country. And given what we've seen, they have a great point there, whether you support the Conservatives or not. And so far, the MPO looks like a PR tool, a hurry-up offense facade on the same old slow game. If it doesn't actually accelerate new proposals, and none have been tested, by the way, yet, it might just be bureaucracy dressed in superhero clothing. And if a project isn't on Carney's pet list, tough luck. It stays mired in the usual process right now. That's hardly the systemic change Canada needs to build major.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find a sunken building.
You can't just be selective.
I'm trying to find a fucking
process for all projects. And so, here's where we wrap it up. Mark Carney sold this Build Canada Strong package as a visionary jumpstart for a struggling economy. But strip away all the branding, and what do we have here? We have projects that were already happening, jobs that were already coming or already exist, and an economy that's exactly as it was before, just with more press releases. This is all smoke and mirrors, everyone. We've basically been sold...
Yeah, you gotta be like stupid and not see that.
But is anybody really truly surprised by any of this? It's the Liberal government. As commentator Brian Lilly put it, Carney spoke of building big and building fast.
We're cooked. The whole of Canada's cooked. Like, the people vote for this shit regularly. They're stupid. No offense, me and everyone in this country.
Amen to that. Look, here's the thing. Let's wrap this into a big tight bow. Each of these five
I don't get this fucking mission.
has merit on its own. I'm not knocking the LNG plant, the SMR, the port.
You want me to now go to a different... You want me to go there? Is that what the fucking game wants? Am I gonna spend 2 minutes trying to go over there? Like, I don't know what this fucking thing wants from me.
By the Carney government. They won't collectively deliver anything close to the massive job or GDP boost that we need to offset now. Carney is essentially cutting ribbons on other people's achievements and calling it leadership.
It's like really not fucking clear.
This is all in the national interest, quote unquote. Well, that's pretty subjective. Perhaps Canada's national interest would be better served fixing the broken system that made building anything here so slow to begin with. Instead, Carney's answer is an opaque major projects office that might fast-track his favorites while everyone else has to wait in line. It feels like political theater because it is political theater. Look, we're doing something big. Oh, we're doing something big that hopefully you won't notice was already underway, when really it's business as usual with a fresh coat of Carney paint. In the end, the jobs numbers will tell the story here. Add up the permanent jobs, a few hundred in LNG, a few thousand.
I guess it's a little faster than fucking real life time.
Even generously, maybe 5,000 to 6,000 new long-term jobs nationally, and that's being generous.
Yeah, there we go.
Canada
That's perfect.
Has 20 million jobs. We lost over 60,000 last month. Creating a few thousand jobs over 5 to 10 years while claiming to turbocharge the economy.
Just coughing out my lungs. It's not a big deal.
These projects won't move the needle one bit economically, and Carney surely knows that. He has to know that. He's the big economist and banker. So yes, we should be glad these projects are proceeding because they are good projects. They're good in themselves, but let's not fall for the hype that this is anything new, that this is some landmark economic strategy. It's more like a political convenience, and the mainstream media is covering that up. Mark Carney gets a headline and a platform to stand against Donald Trump's trade war with these wonderful new projects, with something, anything to announce. Meanwhile, Canadians wanting or waiting for real economic revival and change, like job growth, investment in new industries, faster housing and infrastructure builds all across the board, are left saying, that's it? That's the big announcement on projects? Carney wants to channel an era when we used to build big things in this country and quickly. At least that's what he's channeling in words. But funny, if that's the actual goal, this roster is awfully underwhelming, Mark. Where are the truly bold projects? High speed rail was mentioned as a future idea before the Grey Cup potentially, but not actually started. Nation building would be something like a national power grid or mega
Okay.
projects that actually employ tens of
That's
thousands
completely
at
different than
once.
what I read
Remember when
online,
Stephen
but
Harper
okay.
did that as part of the economic recovery plan he had? Massive highways and building projects that employed thousands. We need to get our resources efficiently to market if done responsibly. But those either didn't make Carney's cut or are off in the vague future. Instead, we get a handful of low hanging fruit that were already ripe. This all feels like too little, too late, Mark, and very much crafted for Carney's image. He gets to please the environmental crowd, no oil pipelines, lots of clean projects in this, throw a bone to industry with LNG, while ironically benefiting his past investments and claiming, well, he's doing something about jobs without actually committing to anything new whatsoever. It's a cynical political balancing act that Mark Carney is growing famous for. So to wrap up this episode, don't be fooled by the rhetoric. Build Canada Strong sounds great until you realize it's more like Build Carney's PR Strong. Canada does need nation building projects, absolutely, but we need them done in reality, not just in press releases. We need system wide changes so that any worthy project, any of them, the entire list, whether a mine, a factory, a pipeline, a power plant, you name it, can be built in a reasonable time, not just the one timeline the Prime Minister handpicks. We need thousands of small and medium enterprises growing, not just a few.
It's an Exo
And we
Bay?
don't need just a few
What the
headline
fuck is
mega
that?
projects. Mark Carney
Is
took
that
the
what that
helm
is?
promising urgency and transformation. So far, we've gotten a repackaged set of ongoing projects and an office that hasn't proven anything yet and still won't. If this is Carney's idea of turbocharging, our economy might be running on fumes. Canada deserves better than recycled projects and recycled promises. Let's see some real bold
Indeed.
action here, or else this Build Canada Strong plans, quote unquote, will go down as Build Canada Snooze. We'll see you on Monday.
Build Canada Snooze.
In what the opposition
What a
has
fucking
described
weak
as the
fucking
Seinfeld summer,
line
the summer
end
of
on.
nothing for Prime Minister Mark Carney. In
The summer
advance
of snooze.
Parliament
Sorry.
resuming.
Batra's burning question. Nobody gives a fuck. It's fucking mainstream garbage. Okay. Oh, Lord Jamar whining about how the science professor Dave cooked him. Hey, you baby. Why don't you go in the window? Hey, go up, baby. Come on. Psst, psst, psst. Go up. Go up in the window. Hey, no. I love you. I love you, kitty. Hey, what are you doing? Come here. Come up, I steal you. I steal you forever. Oh, what is it? Okay. Canis Maximea. Oh yeah, that's what we want. Get your ass out of my face, boy. Get your bowels out of my face, boy. What you do? Want to go in the window? No? Okay. Okay, bye. He just wants to make sure I still love him. I still love you. You're good. He knows a lot about all kinds of... I like that he knows a lot about science stuff. He should have just stuck with that. It's too much, Professor Dave. You're branching out too far. There's no such thing as branching out too far, actually. He promotes a lot of great science. Dave. Professor Dave, what the fuck, Professor Dave? There we go. And
welcome to Professor Dave.
Thanks, brother. Very beautiful. Very
Hey everyone, it's
well
time
put.
for another reaction video. We're
There
going
we go.
to be reacting to Lord Jamar today, so we're coming full circle here. As you recall, way back at the beginning of this year,
The Song
a
of
bunch people had
Perfection.
sent me, a
I've
video
never renamed
of
this thing. I
guy,
love it.
Lord Jamar,
It's
who
great.
was a
It's a
rapper.
great name.
I had never heard of him, and he was spouting
Yeah, go to
off
this planet.
flat
Can we
earth
do that?
nonsense on the podcast of a
No, we gotta
comedian named
get into the
Godfrey. And,
stratosphere,
I
atmosphere,
thought it looked
whatever.
hilarious, so why not do a reaction video to that? And then Dante Nero, who was also present in that podcast episode, reached out to me and said, "Hey, what if you came on the show, on Zoom, and talk to Lord Jamar and see if you can talk some sense into him?" So I went ahead and did that.
And now he's booty blasted because he's the wisest man in the ghetto, and he can't get talked down by him. He can't get talked down by no science professor. I ain't gonna get talked down by no science professor.
Lord Jamar's life apparently, because he has been butthurt about me nonstop for the past 6 months or however long it has been since I humiliated him on Godfrey's show. Since then, I went back on Godfrey's show to talk to me and Dante, and it was actually a great conversation. Explained all kinds of cool
Am I gonna crash into this moon? Oh, it is the moon that I'm going to. Oh, perfect.
I posted that on my channel as well.
Excellent.
But then, since then, kind of he and David Weiss and that other guy who made the stupid documentaries had this.
Can I just fucking land vertically, horizontally, whatever this direction is? Yep, pretty much. It's 11 o'clock, time to go outside and fucking go for a walk. Makes sense to me. There's some shit-ups and poop-ups.
He was humiliated so bad and probably is reminded of that on a daily basis. And so I was informed that he went on this Vlad TV, which apparently he used to go on
baby.
in the past, but
Do
there
it.
was some kind of falling out. I don't really know what the story is there, but he's been on there again recently, and man, just from what I hear, is coping really hard still about how badly I humiliated him. And so he just can't really seem to get past this. So we're gonna watch this and react to this now, and see if we can pour a little lemon juice on the paper cut, because why not? He's a complete jerk and deserves every ounce of humiliation that he gets, and then some. So that's what the video is going to be today. No booze for this reaction video. It's actually mid-morning, and I am also slightly under the weather. Unfortunately, it's kids went back to school last week, and obviously came back with some stuff, and so and I'm actually going to New York in a couple days for that vaccine debate. So
You want me to bang off this whole planet?
and hydrate and do everything like that. So
You want me to bang off this? I'll bang off this whole fucking planet. You think I'm scared of that shit? You think I'm fucking scared? What is this shit? What's this tree shit? Tree shit. What's this? What the fuck is that? I already fucking... Here, have food, motherfucker. Create pellets? I'm not creating pellets. I already done did it.
My friends, you gotta have
Do I have to ride one? Is that...
Skills. Girls only want boyfriends who have great skills.
Skills.
Computer skills, that's the ticket. So how do you get those? Well, let me introduce you to boot.dev. Have you ever wanted to learn how to code? Boot.dev is for you. It's the easiest way to learn Python, SQL, Go,
Java? Even though it's not used?
Super simple and hands-on. It's also gamified
TypeScript.
into a fantasy theme where Boots the Bear Wizard helps you along your quest as you gain experience points while building real projects.
Jesus Christ. I mean, I guess that's cool. But you're not a you're not an idiot. You're not losing
technically incompetent, I found it intuitive and easy to progress.
You're
There are
not
daily
incompetent,
quests that
Dave.
allow
You're
you to earn
intelligent.
rewards,
Don't
community
be.
boss battles,
Don't
and more.
downplay.
Try to top the leaderboard, complete every course, build asteroids, learn cryptography, and when you're done, get cracking on finding that new dream job so you can watch your salary skyrocket. All the content is free to read and watch, but you can also
Yeah,
become a member
I'm
for
super
a lot of
ambitious
interactive
about it.
features with either a monthly or yearly plan. This gives you
But
full solutions for all lessons and access to infinite practice in the training grounds, as well as certificates of completion. Use the QR code you see on your screen, or go to boot.dev and use code Professor Dave to get 25% off
fucking
your entire
bird.
first year on the annual plan, with a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. That's boot.dev and use code Professor Dave to set off on your enchanted coding quest today. Okay, let's start the video now.
Sodium ferrite.
Well, last time we talked about the whole flat Earth thing, and you still maintain the Earth is flat.
Let's
Now,
talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So, well, I saw some stuff on the internet that I thought was a little bit funny, right? When it comes to your stance, when it comes to this, right?
Oh, that's not the most. That's not the wisest man in the ghetto. Sorry.
Now,
It's a different guy I'm thinking of.
Like, for example, is white people are guests.
But he probably thinks he is, for sure.
Right. You said it's about Eminem to the point where Eminem had to respond. Right.
Mm-hmm. The idea that you would try to assert yourself over Eminem is like, I'm not even a rap like fan or anything, but Eminem, like, who even knows who this guy is? Like, Eminem is one of the most famous. If like, it's absolutely like the ego on this guy is off the charts.
People ask
Sure.
if you're a guest in the House of Science.
I can't believe M addressed him. M won't address. I don't know. Whatever.
If I may be a guest in the House of Scientism, because scientism is a religion.
He's turning his science into an ism.
Real science, something that's observable and repeatable.
You mean like
Science, everything,
astronomy,
yeah.
and chemistry and biology, all the shit that you never learned because you dropped out in the
Astronomy,
ninth grade,
cosmology,
and you're an uneducated moron.
Cosmopolitan.
So nobody would say you're a guest in the House of Science. That's like what you said about Eminem is racist as shit. You're a guest in the House of Hip Hop. You can't be in hip hop because you're white. That's racist. If anyone was to say you're a guest in the House of Science, that would be racist as well. Because black people can do science, and they do science.
Yeah, they live in the house. They
scientists, and you are totally
guess they're
free
their own
to learn
friggin'
science
house.
whenever you want, buddy. But you don't do that. You just throw little tantrums like this, where you refer to the entire body
yourself.
of scientific knowledge as scientism, because reasons. In actuality, scientism is not a thing. That's what butthurt science illiterate morons say. When presented with actual real science that demolishes their entire fragile worldview, which is what you have here, right? You had an opportunity after I.
Our worldview is fragile though too. I'm successful. I'm a successful 35-year-old. Look at what I'm doing.
Everyone in the entire world is making fun of me right now.
Look at this.
Or at least everyone
Look at all the
who
copper
knows
I'm mining in
everyone who
No Man's
loves him
Sky.
and knows him. Maybe
I do
it's
these things
time
on the
to
basis
get a little
that
bit of critical thinking going
some
here.
people make really horrible
Acknowledge
mistakes in
that I
their
fell
lives,
for the dumbest
and they
hoax
probably
in
would have been
history
better
of
doing
humanity.
this.
Revise my
So,
stance a little bit.
you know,
Like, you could have come. You could have.
As long as I sit here and let my
really good if you said,
money
you know what,
grow,
like, that
should be
guy
fine. It
was
could grow
a jerk,
faster, but
kinda needed it.
you know, maybe some
Flat Earth is really
sympathetic
stupid.
investor will
I'm
come
gonna
my
try
way.
better now. I'm gonna try to educate myself. You would have saved a lot of face, right? You could have actually come out of this on top. Not
I tend to come
necessarily just
on a
not
little
looking
strong, so
like the butthurt little child that you are.
the
Like,
only
this whole scientism thing.
real
Go ahead, spin your wheel.
friend I had that had access to investment knowledge is
Then there's
he's got a family.
scientism,
He's busy.
where certain things are told to you.
Can't be
and you
dealing
just
with people
have to
from
take their word.
the poor town.
No, that's not how science
Little-
education
working little
works.
numbers.
That's how you think science education works because you're uneducated and you're lying to yourself to feel better about being too stupid and lazy to get an education. When you get an education in the sciences, it's not just some guy at the front of the room dictating out of a book and saying, these are facts. You must memorize these. That's religion, right? That's dogmatic religious scripture. When you learn science, you do science. right? When I got my chemistry degree, you do science, you do chemistry. You go into the lab and
You see it
run reactions.
working.
You learn how to do chemistry, right? You do science such that you can demonstrate the
Exactly.
veracity of these scientific statements or these theories or whatever it is for yourself. You can see for yourself that they work. This is even in high school, right? I've said this a million times in Flat Earth videos. But when you're in high school physics, which you never took because you're a 9th grade dropout, you do basic experiments with little ramps and blocks and pendulums and things like that to demonstrate Newton's laws, right? You use computer software to track the motion of objects, and then you get graphs that show you velocity and acceleration and all these things, and then you use them to derive Newton's laws. And you go, okay, I'm proving to myself that F equals ma. I am proving to myself that acceleration is the derivative of velocity or whatever it is. If you're doing calculus-based physics, you do all this stuff, and it is observable and repeatable. You observe what the object does.
Velocity equals mass times acceleration. Oh my God, it is a derivative of acceleration and mass.
You dropped out of fucking 9th grade, moron. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't pay attention. Gravity is 9.8 G's down, bro. That's a Newtonic force down, bro.
And you watch videos by fucking Eric Dubé, and then you believe everything he says.
Who the fuck is Eric Dubé?
It makes you feel smart and special. You are the one in a religion.
I need to look up Eric Dubé now.
If you get an education, you can get out of that cult because you can gain actual real knowledge. Give it a fucking shot, dude.
For example, saying that
doesn't even need booze to fucking absolutely roast people. What a legend.
Space,
you know. No, we don't fucking know. Explain.
What do they say? Not just weightlessness, but they say, oh yeah, they talk about the vacuum of space.
The lack of gravity.
Right. There's just a vacuum. No, they say the vacuum of and vastness of space, and because of that,
there's no oxygen. There's no
right.
air.
So they say, and because of that, light acts differently than it does here on Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in a different medium.
With particles, so in space where there are virtually no particles, there's nothing to interact with, right? The speed of light in a vacuum is a universal constant, and then in Earth's atmosphere, when light travels through air or water or something else, that affects light.
Yeah.
It's
Each medium.
not that hard to understand.
Yeah.
Also, you're getting tripped up on this weightlessness thing. Remember how you don't know what weight is, right? So if you're talking about being in a low Earth orbit, no, you're not weightless. You have weight. You have something like 90% of the weight that you would on the surface of the Earth. Actually, probably a little more, but you can calculate it using Newton's law of universal gravitation. If you were way out in space, nowhere near any massive object, yeah, you'd be weightless. Because weight is the force applied by an object by virtue of its position in a gravitational field. Okay? So because we're near Earth, we exert a downward force.
Yeah.
Because Earth is pulling us down. So if Earth is pulling us down, then we exert downward force. Right? That's why if you stand on someone's head or chest, they're going to feel force on them because the Earth is pulling that person down through them. So that can hurt depending on your mass, right? A very massive person, 300 pounds or whatever, is going to exert more force, downward force, than a little baby or something. So, look, if you don't want to learn what any of these words mean, that's fine. Just stop whining about it, right? Stop whining about they say this, they say that. Just learn what the words mean. It's not that hard.
Heat acts differently as it does here on Earth.
You also don't know what heat is. That's the problem too, right? Heat acts differently than it does here on Earth. Heat is a transfer of kinetic energy. So like
it's not like a thing.
You have a hot object. The atoms or molecules are either moving translationally or vibrating very fast. And when something is cold, if it's a gas, the particles are moving relatively slower, or if it's a solid, the particles are vibrating relatively slower. And if they come into contact, they transfer kinetic energy. In the vacuum of space, there are virtually no particles. That's why the vacuum of space is very close to absolute zero.
And it's a vacuum.
Nothing in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So, again, you're whining about heat. You don't know what heat means. You don't know what these.
It's almost 1 Kelvin out there. Damn.
I know what these words mean, so you can fucking make sense when you talk, idiot.
That's scientism. That's not something that you and I can test for ourselves.
Have you heard of a telescope, genius? If you want to know how light behaves in space, get a fucking telescope and look with your eyeballs. Did you know that you can look into space with a telescope? Have you ever been to an observatory? Right? You could look at all the displays and learn something if you know how to read. I'm actually not sure if you are literate or not. And then you can look out of the telescope and you can look at objects in space for yourself. Give it a shot. I recommend the moon. Try that one. That's nice and close, so you'll see it in a lot of detail. And try wrapping your head around how you could possibly pretend that that's fake or whatever the fuck you think about the moon.
That's something that we have to believe what's being told to us. And the last time I talked to you, you said, I'm not a scientist.
I said that.
And I said, yes, you are. We're all, listen, we're all scientists.
We're not all scientists.
Oh, you're not accredited
Scientists
fucking
are scientists.
peer-reviewed scientist.
Scientists are people who do science
Yeah.
as a job, right?
Have peer-reviewed paper, published
quite a bit of
papers.
education and knowledge in the sciences, and I'm also not a scientist. I don't call myself one. I'm a science communicator. So no, scientists are scientists, and non-scientists are not scientists. And of all the non-scientists, you are possibly the
Shoot,
most
you can't deny that this man
person in the entire
doesn't
fucking
communicate
world.
science. Is that a big old motherfucker that I haven't seen yet?
First of all, let me just
No, I
say,
seen this bitch.
do I seem like a weirdo to you, Vlad?
Yes.
No.
Like, as long as you've known me, do I seem like an intelligent person to you?
No.
Yes.
Wow. I don't know who this Vlad guy is, but he must not know a lot of people because Jamar is one of the dumbest people that I have ever encountered on the internet.
Okay,
But I disagree with you on certain points.
Hang on a second.
Yes.
Hang on a second. So,
I'm fucking dumb as a brick.
first of all, I got into this.
So
trying to
first of
disprove
all,
it.
I
thought it was
love
fucking ridiculous.
Every goddamn
fucking
flat
what's his
says
name,
this.
motherfucker,
Every flat earther
motherfucker.
says this. No, you didn't. You got
Samuel
ensnared
Jackson. I
by the
love
dumbest
Samuel
folks on the
Jackson,
entire
first of all.
internet because you're one of the dumbest people alive, right? Relatively intelligent people or people of average intelligence fall for hoaxes that are somewhat more credible. So like anti-vaxxers, anti-vax is dumb and bullshit, but if you don't have a significant education in, you know, virology and epidemiology and immunology,
And
right?
biology.
You don't know how the immune system works, which how could you unless you
And chemistry.
actively learned how the immune system works, which takes effort, and maybe you didn't study science, right? You know, then you have these very convincing, I'll admit, you know, no flat earth priests are convincing, but there are anti-vaxxers who make a convincing case. They say, look at this study, right? And you don't know that it's not a legitimate study. How can you know that? It looks like a real study. That's what average intelligence people fall for. In order to fall for flat earth, you have to be one of the dumbest people alive, because basic logic and spatial reasoning dictates that the Earth is a sphere. Which
Fucking
is
more
why we
minerals does
figured
this
it out
place have?
2,500 years ago. All you have to do is look at the celestial sphere, understand celestial navigation, that kind of stuff. So that's why that is the case.
Years ago, you asked me this. You asked me about flat Earth on this show, and I was like, "That's some bullshit." Blah 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 blah.
Oh, you
blah.
said that?
Yes.
I gotta look it up. Okay.
Look it up.
Yeah.
I was like, "That's ridiculous. I can't believe anybody's even questioning it." So when it was brought to me, I was like, "I'm gonna get into this to just disprove this nonsense and be on my way." But the more you really look into it, instead of just going with the ha-ha shit online and the funny, you're a guest in House of Science, you know, once you really start looking into it and you start seeing certain things for yourself and not just taking in what the, you know, with this Rockefeller school system, Carnegie Mellon,
Carnegie Mellon. So he's trying. So with Rockefeller, he's trying to lump in Carnegie, and then he heard of the University Carnegie Mellon one time, doesn't remember what that is, and then threw Carnegie Mellon in there. Rockefeller, I love this Rockefeller bullshit.
Yeah,
What
Rockefeller,
the fuck are you talking
Soros,
about?
what?
You think that Rockefeller invented all of physics and astronomy and everything and wrote it in one little book? And then we go to physics class and astronomy class, and everybody in the entire world opens Physics by Rockefeller. Okay, here's lesson 1. Earth is a sphere, blah, blah, blah. Like, how
Identified
only
fern.
somebody who dropped out in the fucking 9th grade would think that that's how physics education works. Okay? Like, I don't, like, there's such a disparity. Like, you just don't even know what education is, because you never got it. That's the problem here. And by the way, like, again, I mean, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but you are projecting so hard when you pretend that educated people just believe what they're told, when everything you fucking say is directly ripped off of Eric Dubé 200 proofs. Every single thing out of your mouth. Water finds its level. Blah, blah, blah. All of this crap. You're just parroting what some dumb fuck yoga teacher told you on YouTube that made you feel smart and special. That's it.
Shit that's been rammed down our throat since these people came into power here in America. And
These people, just generalities.
We've known the Earth is a sphere since classical Greece.
It's turtles all the way down, bro.
Okay, so this whole until Rockefeller came into power, what the fuck are you talking about? We've known the Earth is a sphere for 2,500 years. We figured out that the sun is the center of the solar system like 500 years ago. Okay, so even that, and that's hard to figure out. That took some actual sophisticated data. One thing I like to say is that flat Earth is so dumb that I could have figured out that the Earth is a sphere by myself, right? I could be in an ancient tribe or whatever. I could, 2,500 years ago, I could be somewhere in the middle of nowhere, and I could just stare at the sky a bunch and travel a little bit and figure it out on my own. Heliocentrism, definitely not. Could not have figured that out on my own. That's way trickier. But flat Earth it's just so indefensible and just the dumbest thing that any human can believe. So all of this Rockefeller crap, it's just, what are you even trying to do with this, man?
And shit that has flourished around the world.
Shit that has flourished, son.
All I can say
Yo,
is
all that shit, son.
They say the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles per hour.
Oh, God.
Oh, you mean around the sun?
That the Earth is spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, right? Just answer yes or no. Do you feel like you're spinning?
We talked about this, man. Like, how do you not learn your lesson when you get dunked on so hard and then you just repeat the exact dumb shit that I dunked on you with? Where is your self-awareness? The Earth spins once per day. It doesn't matter that the tangential velocity, the linear tangential velocity at the equator is 1,000 miles an hour. It spins once per day. Remember when you lost your mind and you couldn't even answer what a day is because you were so embarrassed? It spins once a day, and again, you don't feel motion at constant velocity. What are you not getting here? Have you been on an airplane before? An airplane is going 600 miles an hour or whatever it is, and when you're at cruising altitude, moving at constant velocity, you feel like you're sitting in a fucking chair at home, not moving, right? And don't give me, turbulence. Turbulence aside, I'm saying if there's no turbulence, it feels like you're just sitting in a chair. You can walk up and down the aisle. You can jump in the plane. You don't fly to the back of the plane at 600 miles an hour. Same with a car. If you go on the freeway, if you're going constant velocity, you just feel like you're sitting in a chair, and the Earth is the exterior is moving past you. It's called relative motion. Only when you put your foot on the accelerator or on the brake, you feel that, because you feel acceleration. When acceleration is occurring, a force is being applied, and you can.
It's like he's talking to a 5-year-old.
When you do not feel motion at constant velocity, you
Not well,
brain
5-year-old wouldn't
Get
expect
that through your
can
skull.
understand that, but like a
Yes,
high
Earth's
schooler,
rotation
like a
speed
fucking
at the equator is
16-year-old.
approximately 1,000
This is
miles
how it
per hour.
works. Kids stuck in an after-school
Do you
fucking
feel
punishment.
like you're moving?
This is how physics
Yes
works.
or no?
No, but I also don't.
No, you see?
Blah,
I
blah,
also
blah,
don't
blah,
feel like
blah,
I'm
blah.
moving when I'm on a plane
Blah, 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 blah.
or a car.
Sure you do.
No, I don't.
Come on, stop it,
No,
Vlad.
no, I don't.
Sure
You
you do.
know that you're moving.
No, you don't. You know that you're moving because you're not an idiot and you know what cars and planes are, but you don't feel it. You don't feel it corporally in your body. You don't feel it viscerally, right? Your body cannot tell.
Like, you ever fall asleep on a plane? How the fuck you do that?
You out, if someone drugged you or something and blindfolded you and put you on a plane and you woke up in the
You would kind of know you're in
mid-flight,
something, but
and, well, okay,
be loud.
plane has a particular sound. Let's say you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
headphones in, right? You wouldn't know that you're on a plane. You would not know. Okay, I'm sorry.
More or less.
Just this is
Unless
something
you're a
that your
pilot and you
brain
like know what it
fundamentally
feels
does
like to
not
be in a plane.
understand. And there's nothing anybody can do about that for you.
When you're in a car and a plane, you feel turbulence, you feel bumps.
If there's turbulence,
you know that you're
but
going
if it's smooth,
forward.
you don't know. I don't feel like.
And here's the difference. Here's the difference, right? In a car and in a plane, you are inside of something, right? They are claiming that we are on a ball on the outside of a spinning ball held only by a mysterious force called gravity.
Mysterious.
Again, hang on.
Okay.
A scientism term.
It's not scientism just because you're dumb and don't want to learn physics. Gravity exists. Just going, gravity is stupid, doesn't negate gravity existing. Like, what? How are you under the impression that incredulity, right? This is, I hate like listing logical fallacies, but it's an argument from incredulity. You're just saying gravity sounds dumb to me and doesn't make sense because I'm dumb and I
Bro,
don't
is this
understand
thing
basic
fucking
physics,
broken? What am I
so
doing
it doesn't
wrong?
exist. That's
Like, I don't-
all you got here, man.
Is it because where I'm sitting? Like, what?
Which
Fucking get me
when
out
you
of here, bro.
remove it, everything else
This game's ridiculous.
falls apart.
Okay, so
Okay, we good now?
take a bucket of water and swing it in a circle over your head.
That's
The
called
water-
centrifugal
The
force.
water does not fall off.
Hang on.
When it's
It's
over your head.
inside the bucket, though, Vlad. Do you not understand? It's not on the outside of
3
the
more
bucket.
flora,
Would you be
Hang on.
willing? Okay, would you be?
5 more minerals.
He's actually right? So I'm impressed that he knew that it was centrifugal force. But here's the difference. So they're both wrong here, actually. So number one, so in order to spin, have the water stick to the side of the bucket while you do this, you got to spin it really fast, right? You're spinning it several times per second around your head. Once again, how fast does the Earth spin? Once per day. So take the bucket of water, put it on its side, and go like this, but have it take 24 hours to go around your head one time. You think any water's gonna be left in the bucket when you're done? No, it will all fall out in the first half a second. So, and I've done this in, so he's not wrong. There is a centrifugal force that is.
It's hard when all these fucking rocks look the
due to
same.
its rotation, but it spins so slowly, and you can calculate this. And I did it in, I think it was my very first response to the Globebusters, right? Acceleration towards the center of the Earth due to gravity, right? The force of gravity. We're talking about 9.8. Meters per second squared, and then the acceleration due to
I think it's just
force due to
is it
rotation
meters per
is
second
something
squared? I
like
thought it was
0.02
newtons down.
meters per second squared. I might be a little off there. 0.03, something like that. So it exists, but it's way like the gravity overwhelms it by several orders of magnitude, right? So it's true if the Earth was spinning like as fast as a fucking neutron star, right? Like a pulsar, if it was spinning 20 times a second, yeah, everything would fly off. That's absolutely true. But it doesn't fucking do that. It spins once per day. So why can't you get it through your skull that spinning one time in 24 hours is not producing an appreciable centrifugal force? What are you not getting about that, dude?
Be willing. Let me just say this, right? And this is not what Godfrey did on his show. Would you be willing to sit down and have a actual professional, cool discussion with a scientist?
Why not do it with you?
Because I want to.
We're doing it right now.
Because he's not equipped to show you how fucking dumb you are. I am, and you flipped out, had a meltdown, and demanded that I get booted off the show because you're a fragile little fucking toddler that can't handle reality. So what are you obviously you don't want to talk to anybody that knows what they're talking about, or that will push back on your brainwashing in any way, shape, or form, right? We have that demonstrated. I was there, and you ran away like a little toddler. So
respectful. Can I bring a respectful conversation with someone who knows this better than me?
But see, no. Here's the thing, right?
So you're not willing to do it?
No. Listen, I'm
Are you
not
fucking
saying
kidding
that
me?
right now. What I'm saying is, there's certain things that we're not gonna get caught.
What the fuck is this game talking about?
Like middle school level physics.
You know about podcasting. You know about filming and recording and shit, right?
Right.
Do you know how the circuitry of that mic works?
Not at all.
Oh, so you don't even know about
Oh.
the very thing that you're talking into and all this type of shit. You see what I'm saying?
You fucking wiener. He's not the one. Listen, it's okay
The
that
pirate
he
shit,
doesn't know how the
Batman.
microphone works because he's not the one. He's not pretending the microphone doesn't work. The Rockefeller education system is trying to tell me about circuitry and electricity, but electrons aren't even real. So none of this is real. He's not denying anything about what human society says about how microphones work or anything like that. You're the one pretending that all of science is wrong. That's why it's hilarious when you're a fucking idiot who can't even define basic terminology you were supposed to learn in 6th grade. Okay? That's the difference, right? It's okay to not know things. It's not okay to assert your profound ignorance over the totality of human knowledge. That's what you do. He's not doing that, okay? So don't, I get what you're trying to do, but it doesn't work.
Do you know the definition of, some shit that's inside your camera? Like, this is where they try to trip you up on. And that's the shit that they try to hit me with when I was on Godfrey's show. We never had a debate.
Who's they? You can't even bring, it's you, James Tour, all of these people that I humiliate. You can't even bring yourself to say my name. You're referring to me as they. James Tour calls me that YouTuber. Like, I haunt your dreams so thoroughly that you can't even, you just want to forget my very existence. Yeah, we did debate. You said a bunch of dumb shit and I proved how all of it is dumb and wrong. I mean, I guess it wasn't a formal debate in the sense of like opening statements and things like that, but whatever you want to call it, man, you said dumb shit and I humiliated you. That's what happened.
It was all about seeing if I knew certain technical terms that he already studied ahead of time, and that guy is not a professor, first of all, and he'll let you know he's not a real professor.
5, 4,
he's just somebody
3,
who
2,
talks to
1.
so-called scientists and then regurgitates it back to other people.
So, wow. So I used to teach organic chemistry at a university, and then I became a science communicator. And part of being a science communicator, usually, is talking to scientists.
I think I know what I gotta do. I gotta open the X
their
menu.
work to the general public. So that's my job as a science communicator. They're not so-called scientists. They're fucking scientists because they do science. And I frequently talk to chemists and biologists and astronomers and physicists and archaeologists and climate scientists and all kinds of stuff because I take my job very seriously, right? I'm a very good science communicator, but I don't have deep expertise in all of these various fields that I discuss. I'm a generalist. Now, a generalist like me is very well equipped to debunk fucking flat Earth because it's the dumbest shit in the entire world. And you're flipping out about technical terms like weight. You didn't know what weight meant. You didn't know what a day is. You couldn't tell me what a day is because you were too embarrassed to admit that it's associated with the Earth rotating on its axis one time. one time. So this is just, my God, the level of butthurt cope here is just off the chart. It's higher than anything I've ever seen. It's higher than James Tour. It's higher than fucking Dan Richards and the pseudo-archaeology morons. Like, this guy, like, this guy hates me so much. It's bananas.
Oh, what if I bring an actual professor? What if I bring in a black,
It's not.
science, professor of science of some sort?
Then I might
and
bring
it will not be- it will-
my black guy with me too. But
Okay,
here's-
Like, black people study different science, right? We won't get the white guy in here. We'll get the black guy, and the black guy will give you the black science, right? The black physics. Will you believe him then? Right? Just everything is coded in race stuff for them. And like, okay, I don't have the black experience, right? But just like, just what race you are doesn't affect the laws of physics. Okay? The way the universe is the way it's been since before humans even existed. So whoever you are, just learn about it. Just get an education, right? Social burdens notwithstanding. Fortunately, today, it is absolutely possible for black people to get an education, where in a way that's different from even, let's say, 100 years ago. Yeah, whatever you're calling the Rockefeller education, or whatever you're trying to say there, that's the physics that everybody's learning in order to actually do things that matter and progress human civilization and develop all of this technology that you take for granted, even though you have no fucking idea what any of it is. So there's that.
Hey,
here's
that's
the
fine.
thing.
We can all bring our black guy
Here's
with
the
us.
thing.
You bring your black guy, I'll bring
Yeah,
my black
shout
guy.
out to my man, brother Sanchez.
Okay.
Um,
Well, listen, we can do that. We can
but
do that.
here's the thing. You have people. Those are people that are like deacons in that religion. I'm not a deacon in the flat earth movement. I don't really give a fuck if you believe it's round or flat or not. I'm just telling you that common sense, okay? If you really look, you look up and you see the sun in the east, you look at it move across the sky. You don't feel yourself moving, you're seeing it move across the sky.
Oh my God, you're the dumbest person alive. When you're on a merry-go-round, you see everything spinning around you. Are you moving, or is everything spinning around you? That's fucking common sense, dumbass. Like, if you want to actually talk about common sense, when the sun moves across the sky, what's happening? If it was doing donuts on a flat plane, what would you expect? It would start as a point, it would get bigger as it approaches, and then it would get smaller as it recedes, and it would never go anywhere near the horizon. That's fucking common sense, dumbass. Common sense is that because it retains the same angular size the entire time it's in the sky, and because it rises at the horizon and sets at the other horizon, we are on a sphere that's turning. And sunrise is when the sun comes into view, and sunset is when the sun leaves our view, because it's now on the other side of the sphere. That's fucking common sense. You don't have access to common sense, right? Flat Earth is the only hoax that can indeed be debunked by common sense, right? All of this other stuff, anti-vaxxers and climate change deniers and things like that, it's not common sense at all. You have to learn science, and you have to look at data, and you have to process all of this data. That's way more difficult to figure out. Flat Earth is the only one, man. You need a fully functional brain, basic spatial reasoning skills, and you won't fall for this crap. But you don't have those things, and you also have no education. So that's why you're here, and you're not a deacon, right? All you're saying is that you're admitting is that you're a pointless little pawn in the cult. You're so dumb that you're not even smart enough to be one of the leaders of the cult, right? All of these guys, David Weiss, Eric Dubé, they're dumber than rocks, but you're even dumber than them, right? They're the ones that are at least smart enough to monetize this crap, and you just eat it up. You just eat it all up. You watch their videos. Oh, yeah, water finds this level. Oh, no, oh, it's a spinning ball. How's there air next to the vacuum space? Oh. You just repeat
Activates the
dumb shit they
pulse
say.
drive to
You
begin the
are
tuning.
brainwashed one,
Is this the pulse
regurgitating
drive?
dogma. Educated people understand how things work. That's the difference.
Or is this the
you
pulse
know?
drive? Oh, that's the
You
pulse
see
drive.
the moon have a
Duh, me
pattern
stupid.
that's very
Me
similar
good.
to how the fucking sun moves. You see this every night with your own eyes, but like a sucker, right?
Okay,
Like a
interesting.
broad,
That's what that
right?
is.
Like a broad. Oh, oh my god. Like the sexism coupled with the racism and also the cope that just like almost all women in the entire world are smarter than you. Did you
I
know
don't know,
that?
supposed to land
Smart.
or?
Uh, almost all women are smarter than you because almost all women are not flat earthers, which is the dumbest thing you can be in the entire world.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
the
yes, yes.
chauvinism, the delusion, the narcissism. It's just, my God, what a cocktail.
Who a
BRB.
dude says to them, "Don't believe your lying eyes. I know what you see, but that's not what you saw. I know you thought you."
Echo water. Okay, we've been at this for an hour and a half.
You saw me with that broad, but that's not what you saw. Let me tell you what you saw. So, and that's what's going on here.
So you feel you're being punked.
No, that's what flat earthers do to you, right? I just explained to you constant angular size of the sun, horizon to horizon, right? Anyone can use that, use their own eyes.
Dumbass,
Celestial sphere
buh.
rotates
I'm aboard
counterclockwise
Corvette.
around Polaris in the northern hemisphere, rotates clockwise around the Southern Cross in the southern hemisphere. Right, new stars appear and other stars go away as you change latitude. These are all things that we can see with our eyes. And flat earth priests are asking you to ignore that, to ignore the common sense associated with what you can see with your eyes if you weren't a lazy moron who has very clearly never looked at the night sky a single time in your entire life.
Mocha.
Oh, you definitely being
Get
punked.
there.
If you believe, first of all, if you believe that water can stick to the outside of a ball, see, this whole thing about a bucket is the wrong shit because, again, water is inside the bucket. Centrifugal force will keep
I
it
ain't never
inside.
done one of these before.
When you say that water is on the outside of a ball, when you put a tennis ball, you soak it with water. Get a picture right now of a spinning tennis ball soaked in water. You'll see all the water move to what would be the equator of the ball, and then shoot out in all directions off of the ball. And there's plenty of pictures like that on the internet right now.
Yeah, how fast did you spin it? Did you spin it once in 24 hours? I'm pretty sure you spinned it thousands of times faster than that. We went over this, dude. Centrifugal force isn't what's keeping the water on the Earth. It's true, centrifugal force is pushing things off of the Earth, but with a force that's like a 1/1000th or something like that of what's keeping things on, and that's fucking gravity. And all you have in response to that is gravity, gravity, gravity. You turn into a toddler whenever somebody brings up gravity. That's not an argument. Gravity exists. Massive objects exert a gravitational force, and Earth is really fucking big, so it exerts a very large gravitational force. Things stick to the surface of the Earth. Water, people, air, rocks, everything. So I just don't know what to tell you here, man. You don't have anything. You don't have anything to, right, just flat earthers have, at least fucking Witsit tries to do the whole gravity as electromagnetism thing. I mean, he sounds like an idiot when he does it, but at least he's trying something. You're just going, gravity, I don't believe in that because I just don't want to. Like, it's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen.
Okay, so according to, you know, the AI overview of this question, why water sticks to the Earth, the Earth's gravity, along with a prop.
Yeah, the correct answer to the question. Duh.
Properties of water itself primarily keeps water from leaving the planet. Gravity pulls everything towards the Earth's center, including water, preventing it from simply floating away into space. Additionally, the attraction between water molecules, cohesion, and the attraction of water to other surfaces, adhesion, helps keep water in place. The Earth's atmosphere also plays a role, with the lower atmosphere's temperature and density preventing water vapor from escaping.
Sounds good.
Yeah, because it's a fucking fact. You have nothing. You have nothing. Like, what is going through your head that you can convince yourself that all of that shit he just said is wrong, and you have no ability to, you don't even know what any of those words mean, right? You're just giggling to yourself like a child. What is this, man? Like, come on, get your life together. I'm rooting for you here. I really am. I feel like you could turn this around if you wanted to.
But that's not what the fuck we see. Let me ask you something.
Yeah, and they said the most significant factor is Earth's
always
gravity.
find its level? Does water always find its level? Yes or no? Huh?
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. Okay.
Yeah, and you don't know what level means. Level means perpendicular to the vector pointing to the center of the Earth. That's it. And that is indeed what it does by conforming to the surface of the sphere, right? It wouldn't if you had a sphere and the water just magically went off this way, that would be not level, right? Not level is all the water being at the lowest altitude possible, right? And so it conforms to the surface of the sphere. It's just like there's something in your brain that fundamentally can't understand these very, very simple principles. And this is a case where you either recognize that you have a severe cognitive deficit and just accept that and go, look, science is obviously right because technology exists. I don't get it because I'm dumb and I dropped out of the 9th grade. You can still, that's okay. Like, you can be dumb and drop out of high school and just not understand fucking anything and still be a good person and a good contributing member of society. You can have a normal job and have a family and be nice to people and increase the you know, positively influence the experience of people on Earth, right? But that's not what you do. You're an idiot who doesn't understand anything and dropped out of the 9th grade, and then you're just this fucking leech. You're this poison. You're just this toxic person who just makes everything shitty, right? Everything, you try to influence people around you to disavow science and basic logic. You're racist. You're sexist. Like, you just suck. You're just a shit person. And you've made it this far in life. I don't know how old you are, coming up on 60 or something like that, and you're just still this guy. Like, I just feel so sorry for you. Like, when you're 20, you can be a jerk off when you're 20, and then later you're like, man, I was being a what a jerk, and I learned my lesson, now I'm a better person. You made it this far, and you're still this fucking guy. Like, how sad is that? It's tragic.
Okay. Is the Earth supposed to be covered 75% of water?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Case closed. Water doesn't find its curve. It's called a horizon because it's horizontal. You see,
That is not the etymology of the word horizon. Look it up, asshole.
the function is in the word. Sea level, it's because it's level.
Yes, the altitude is the... Well, actually, sea level does vary slightly around the world. That's an interesting tidbit. That's why we have, like, the Panama Canal and stuff, because the sea level is different on the other sides of the in the two bodies of water. So already you sound like an idiot that you didn't know that. But yeah, level doesn't mean flat. Level doesn't mean flat, okay? If you have this much curvature, of the Earth, and then you have the center of the Earth here, we're talking about all of the water trying to be equidistant from the center of the Earth. That's the way that it minimizes the gravitational potential energy of all the water molecules. Okay? Everything is trying to get as close to the center of the Earth as possible. That's what level means, right? If you have this curvature here, right, and then you have water molecules here, the water molecules are going to conform to the curvature of the Earth to try to stay close to the center of the Earth. They're not going to go have a flat surface and project this way and go up in altitude, right? In order for the water to be flat, it would have to be climbing in altitude, which would mean raising its potential energy. Everything is trying to get to the lowest energy possible, minimize the gravitational potential energy. That's what level means. You don't know what level means. It doesn't mean flat, and you're humiliating yourself for the 1,000th time.
An airplane, a plane is a straight line. So an airplane is flying straight. It is not dipping its nose to account for the curvature of the Earth.
That's not how planes work, you fucking moron. Okay, it's about me. Oh my God, when a plane is landing, is the nose pointed down like this to try to get lower? No, it's like this. The nose is pointed up so that it gets all of the resistance of the air on the wings so it can fucking slow down. Right? You not knowing how planes work doesn't make the Earth flat. Okay, buddy?
It's bullshit. And let me tell you another thing. You can go around the Earth east to west, west to east, but you never see flight paths that go north to south and come back around.
Well, no, people have done that, not commercially, because why the fuck would you do that, right? There are no flights going from the North Pole to the South Pole because people don't live there permanently, right? You have all of the continents, and we go from places where people live to other places where people live. But people have circumnavigated the globe north to south many times. You can look it up, right? You'll just say, no, they didn't, because that's what you do. But they have done that. It's called circumpolar navigation. Look it up. Google circumpolar navigation. See what you find, buddy.
Well,
Show me one of those.
Going through the North Pole.
Oh,
the South Pole,
no.
Probably pretty dicey.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Now you're making up fucking excuses
a little
for
bit,
them.
yeah, a little bit. Well, I will say this though before I leave the topic. One of the funniest comments I've seen when it refers to you is "Peace to the gods and flat Earths."
Ha 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 ha.
I thought it was kind of funny.
Ha ha ha.
You don't find it funny, I assume.
Ha 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 ha. Yes, sweetie. That's funny because you pretend that science is a religion when in fact you are the one in a cult. And you pray to your gods, Eric Dubé and whoever. That's the only one I know for a fact that has brainwashed you. You're friends with Bro Sanchez, apparently. I actually haven't. I've never even. I'm not familiar with that guy, but I know he's a flat earther. I've heard the name, so that's it. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, it seems like our little encounter has determined the trajectory of the rest of your life because you're just not getting over this, man. Let me know, dude. Like, I would be very willing to talk to you again and try to help you understand this stuff. I don't think that you're ready to give up this ridiculous thing that makes you feel smart and special. right? What's wrong with being dumb and uneducated, right? There's nothing morally wrong about it. It's okay. You're very dumb and you're supremely uneducated because you dropped out of the 9th grade. It doesn't make you a bad person. You can still be a good person. You can still be kind. You can still have the appropriate reverence for people who do take it upon themselves to get an education, right? There are socioeconomic factors. There are plenty of people out there in America and then also certainly in underdeveloped nations that just life is too hard, right? There's people in Gaza right now. They're struggling to fucking survive. They're not learning physics. They're not getting this stuff. I'm privileged. I'm a privileged person. I'm the first person to admit it. I had access to education. My dad was able to pay for me to go to college. I learned all this stuff, and I don't take it for granted, right? I got an education, and because of that, I have a much clearer view, and also all of the work that I've done since then in becoming the science communicator that I am today. I have a sophisticated view of the world, right? Because I have entry-level knowledge in many, many different fields. I'm not an expert in any of these fields, which is why I refer to experts, but the shit that you don't understand is what people learn in middle school. You didn't learn it because you didn't pay attention in middle school, and then you dropped out of the 9th grade. So you don't, I mean, obviously you don't understand what kids learn in high school, like, Newton's laws and stuff like that, but like actual physical demonstrations of Newton's laws. You probably heard of them in middle school too. Or maybe you just went to a really bad school, right? That's also possible too. Education varies depending on where you are. My point is, it's okay that you're incredibly stupid. It's okay that you know jack shit about anything. That's one part of it. But being this disgusting, sexist, racist, narcissistic, egomaniacal loser who projects your own profound ignorance over the totality of human knowledge, that's not okay. That's pathetic. That makes the world a worse place. And you're never going to get to a better place in life until you admit that to yourself and seek out knowledge, right? Or if you're just too lazy, it's too late, you're too old, you're never going to get the knowledge, just admit that you're never going to get it and just accept that other people know things that you're never going to know, right? It is not the case that you're smarter than everyone else in the world, right? And you know this super secret truth, this common sense, my eyes tell me. No, it doesn't, man. Your common sense is that the Earth is a sphere. It is literally genuinely common sense that the Earth is a sphere. And so, that's it. Like you've made this bed for yourself, and now you're sleeping in it. And humiliation and mockery will follow you everywhere you go for the rest of your life until you figure out a way to change, dude. I don't know how to help you with that. I did my best. I know I was harsh on you, but you definitely deserve it, and then some. And I just hope there's other people in your life that can serve it up to you that hard until you get it through your skull, dude. I just, that's all there is to it. So I'm gonna go back to not thinking about you at all because you're completely inconsequential. You go back to having nightmares about me every night and cursing my name, and we'll go our separate ways, unless you talk shit about me on the internet again, in which case you better believe I'm gonna do another one of these. So that's it. Later, Lord Jamar, and thanks everybody for watching. See you next time.
Very nice lambasting.
Joining me now is the author of groundbreaking works, international bestsellers, his latest on democracies and death cults. Douglas Murray, let's start with the murder of Charlie Kirk, one of the brightest and bravest voices of his generation, a genuinely decent man, a father of two, shot dead at the age of 31, at the type of event that had really become synonymous with his name. He understood
3 days
the
ago.
importance of robust debate.
It's terrible. We've all heard of this. What do we got here? What do we got? What's recommended here? Spread spray this on your pizza. Be right back. All right, back like crack. Bad. I need to see that. It's terrible. The world sucks. The world's horrible. It's filled with unempathetic psychopaths that pretend to be fucking the saviors of the universe. He is back in stock. Oh, a little kitty cat. My dad had a midlife crisis and broke up the family for a goth waitress. Stavi's voice can get annoying sometimes, but I haven't watched Stavi's World in a while. Sorry. For nobody that pays attention to this channel anyway. Get the smoking wrestling basement guy. Yeah, I hung out with those guys 10 years ago. I hung out with those guys before it was cool. It's not cool. What the fuck was it showing me then? What is this then? That was interesting. Oh, the title was interesting. I want to fucking see this. Oh, it's Eclipse. Okay. Fucking can't deal with this. The Prince of Darkness falls. Let's do some Lotus. Fucking Lotus is where we want to be. Lotus. Fuck this. Bro. Fuck, I'll just fucking become an old school fucking programmer. There you go. Just I'll use backspace. I'll use delete. Fucking nightmare. I thought this was supposed to be reading my mind, doing everything for me, so I don't have to fucking exert any effort. Boom, baby.
Assassination on Wednesday, but on Tuesday in the House
Power of the drunk. I'm a drunkle. My nieces and nephews love me. Those map crew manifest recovered. Secure the secure mainframe detected. Okay. Sure. Almost died twice? Sure. I don't think the froggy. I don't like the fog. This doesn't look good.
You can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I do not
I guess we're in a derelict, blown up ship. I guess there'd be some type of vapor. Shit.
Because it does seem to be a story that involves
Calm down. Don't explode.
all of the most important heads of state that we've seen.
Hey, you don't need to be exploding.
US offices of the past 20 years, if not 30, 40 years. Many of the intelligence agencies who are actually the government of the world, and they're not going to give themselves up. You're not going to get a written statement from them all.
What the fuck is it? Oh, it's not even a real blue one. I look like the blue one. Yeah, it's just looking from a different angle.
We are going to punish them. What we are going to get is dribs and drabs of new information that might even end up becoming almost like the slot
Supreme thermal protection.
Like, oh, here's some more added information regarding the Epstein story that doesn't really go anywhere. Especially if you believe, like me, that whatever happened to the Epstein operation is that it's moved on. It's still going on, and there has simply been a replacement Epstein
Indicate
put in
captain's
place that
fate
none of
to
us have
begin.
ever
I don't
heard
know.
of. Maybe we have heard of him, but we just don't know that it's him.
Shit,
These
can I
kinds
read
of
logs or
affairs
some shit?
always go on with the intelligence communities. Blackmailing material is always being gathered by them for one reason or another. They need somebody in charge of that. Despite that, though, the new information that we get is always interesting in putting together the wider story, as journalists like Whitney Webb have
I
done.
read the
The
logs.
different evidence we can get
I have to
can
go back to the logs.
expand our understanding of who is involved in it. So while I'm not expecting, you know, the United States government to indict the entire CIA and then start to try and extradite other foreign criminals in foreign intelligence agencies, whether that be MI6 or Mossad or any of the other ones that Epstein would have been in close contact
We haven't
with,
gotten the captain's log, so we
it
don't
is
know what the
still important to see what
captain's
has been
fate
done.
is.
Before I go into the drop of documents from Tuesday, one interesting thing that I sadly missed last time I covered part of this story was this Reason article, which went over leaked emails where they found that Epstein, in the last 4 years of his life, was making inroads into security technology. Particularly that he had partnered with the former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud
There's a log right there we
Bear in
need.
mind, this is in 2015, 7 years after his 2008 conviction on charges of human trafficking and inappropriate contact with minors, some up to some as young as 14 years old. Ehud Barak was still willing to work with him as a partner, investing in a security tech startup called Reporty Homeland Security, now known as Carbine. The leaked emails, some of which feature in here, show that there was a number of times where they were trying to get contact with and meetings set up with Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel has addressed this and said that he had met Epstein kind of informally a number of times, but that he wasn't fully aware of who he was speaking to at the time. So kind of an evasion of all of that. So that's just some of the information that came out.
Engineer got solar madness, guy. Yeah.
But the big thing that happened was that the Oversight Committee released all of these documents. I have not read over all of them myself. There are 4 drops, which include documents, financial documents, agreements that he'd made, a lot of official writings that had his signature on it. But the big one that people were looking at was the elusive birthday files, the 50th birthday book from 2003, which was 238 pages long and featured written and typed messages and signed typed messages from many people that he had been involved with in the preceding years up until he was 50. Of course, and there is some very interesting stuff here. There was lots of photographs, including one you can see here where he's holding a large check. A lot of the information has been redacted to save the identities of some of the women who were involved. This is a pay to Jeffrey Epstein signed to Donald Trump for $22,500. Very strange developments there. If I carry on with this, they appear to include messages from the likes of Donald Trump and the UK ambassador to Washington, then UK ambassador to Washington, Lord Peter Mandelson. The one from Trump, if it loads, is this going to load, Samson? Here it is. Appears to be. Now, Trump has denied that this was written by him and denied that this is his signature. But it says, voiceover, there must be more to life than having everything. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. It's written in some kind of strange dialogue. It essentially ends with, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. And it is drawn within the outline of a nude woman. Very strange, but nothing too incriminating by itself, just very strange. It's well known at this point that they had been friends for about 15 years by 2003, and that it was around that time that they ended up having a fallout as a result of some wires getting crossed over, both of them trying to outbid each other on some townhouse they were both looking at. Some of the more interesting stuff in here as well, though, is that there is an extended
Bro.
written by Peter Mandelson, including photographs, where he essentially writes him a really loving little story, where he says that how he parachuted into his life and you were a man of mystery who gave me so many interesting opportunities and introduced me to so many interesting friends that I had.
Is there a thermal thing around here?
Sometimes you.
Wait.
That is a picture of
hang on.
Peter Mandelson, by the way.
Interesting is in commas. Interesting friends. What does that refer to?
I guess we'll have to figure it out ourselves. That'll be up to speculation because nothing in here is explicitly incriminating.
That's two friends.
A heating module over here. What?
Yes, it certainly is. And it ends with saying that you would parachute back in, taking you by surprise, and no matter what happens, you take me to your islands and hang out with his friends, which has in brackets yum yum. Very strange thing to include there. And but wherever he is in the world, he remains my best pal.
So Peter Mandelson was a massive dirty. Can I say it?
I think it would be defamation. I don't believe you could say it.
The producer is giving me the thumbs. I can't say. Okay, somebody in the chat say what I'm thinking.
We all know what you're trying to say, Dan. So carry on. But it is interesting that Epstein was friends with so many people, going all the way up to the highest halls of power within British government, American government. There's an included message from seemingly signed by former President Bill Clinton, which references Epstein's childlike curiosity. Basically, everything in here seems to be referencing sexuality of some form. In a very pervy and disturbing way. As well as the birthday book, the documents released includes Epstein's will, his contact books, agreements he signed with prosecutors, and financial transactions and holdings. One of the most disturbing things that I saw in here, which again seems to suggest that everybody in here, or at least a significant number of people in this book, knew what was actually going on, is, if I can find it scrolling down, a particular illustration drawn as though it was by a child. Where is it? Here it is. Look at this, Dan. Here is a picture drawn of a younger Epstein in 1983 handing out lollipops to small girls, and then in 2003, presumably those same girls, all in various stages of nudity, giving him a massage on the beach.
Right.
They're rubbing it in your face. They never expected this to come out, and this was sketched in the book, but it's clear they all knew what was going on, they just didn't say. I don't know if this could be more explicit, but it doesn't need to be more explicit.
That was in the book that these people were signing?
Yes. Again, Donald Trump has denied that it's his actual signature, when I believe it was the Wall Street Journal referenced this and found a letter and said that it was a part of this birthday book, which was initially denied to have existed. I believe that is why he is currently taking legal action against them for slander or defamation of some kind. So that is the line that is being said right now. But anybody who did knowingly sign this is very, very suspect if they were also aware that there were images like this in it, which suggest that everybody knew what Epstein was doing all along, which was trafficking young girls, enticing young girls in, and then taking advantage of them. It couldn't be more clear-cut.
So not only was this not actually real, apparently, but
it is, because we've got it now.
Right.
Got the full thing.
But then the client list as well, that we've been assured is also not real, is...
For legal reasons...
His contact book.
Oh, contact books.
For legal reasons, I should point out that my earlier comments do not suggest that I think that Peter Mandelson was doing anything whatsoever with young girls.
Or boys, just to be clear. And one of the other interesting things that, for instance, Benny Johnson pointed out is that in some of the documents there was scribbles in the margins suggesting he is the boyfriend of blah-de-blah. Don't know if that's Ghislaine Maxwell.
The fuck
I
is
don't believe Ghislaine Maxwell
Prater
was
Bulkhead?
redacted in any of these, so this must be some other girl who was seeing at the time.
No Man's
So
Sky.
he works for the
Derelict
CIA.
Freighter.
You mentioned Mike Benz in the last segment. Mike
Options.
Benz has also highlighted this, and then highlighted that one of the usual things that the CIA does is that if the media
the choice allows him to select 1 of 3 parameters. A modest amount of nanites, a cargo bulkhead to extend the storage space on their freighter or salvaged fleet unit, which is a random installable upgrade module
at any one time, but it will always be
for frigate missions or the frigate's hybrid
back on
drive.
July 17th,
Salvage
it
fleet
looked and
module.
found that there has been no CIA name trace done on Jeffrey Epstein, because you can find information on who has been name traced by them. And now, by the time he was posting this on the 9th of September, still nothing. The CIA seem very uninterested in how involved in their own operations Jeffrey Epstein may
Great, that's not what I wanted.
been. And that's one of the other reasons that, again, I'm not
A
expecting
deployable
some
freighter
gigantic
upgrade.
indictment of the intelligence agencies.
Performance of your fleet. Okay,
The
cool.
Oversight Committee, independent as they may be, simply will not have the power
Okay,
to
cool.
overthrow one of the most important and powerful agencies in the entire world. The intelligence agencies, whether that be MI6, CIA, Mossad, whoever, seem to have a blank check to do whatever they want and have done for years. You could say it goes back to JFK. And again, I expect that there were multiple intelligence agencies involved in that whole operation. There was also something else that came out, which was around the same time Mike Johnson had said that Trump was actually an FBI informant on the Epstein case, and people were reporting on that, but he has since walked back those comments, saying that he didn't know if he used the right word. I said FBI informant, I'm not sure, I wasn't there. So that was a nothing burger. That was a nothing burger. The next thing that came of all of this was that more information was released about Peter Mandelson. And just to remind you all of who Peter Mandelson is, he was one of the trio, the three amigos, who formed the New Labour government with Blair at its head in 1997.
Data previously recorded. I'm good at reading.
1985, had been the director of their communications. He was their PR guy. He built the New Labour image and framework. So he was one of the major reasons that we got Blair in 97 in the first place. And remember what he said was that they, back in 2004, I believe, sent out search parties to get immigrants to come into this country.
Yes.
And it's in the same article that we get the very famous quote that Andrew Nether, a former advisor,
I went up to so many of these and they didn't open, but I guess they do.
Policy was designed to rub the right's nose in diversity. So that's the kind of quality of character we're talking about.
I remember Peter Mandelson from the time, right? And I remember watching a documentary before Labour got into power, where Peter Mandelson, he had a moustache back then, because it fell off as well. He had a moustache back then, and in this documentary, he's taking the BBC through his place, and he's complaining about how poor he is and about how he's got rising damp coming up his walls and stuff like that. After about 4 years of being in government, he had to resign for the first of about 3 times, I think, over scandals that he kept on buying multi-million-pound properties. So quite the turnaround on a minister's salary to go from complaining about how poor you are to getting involved in multiple scandals for multi-million-pound property purchases. I don't know how that happened.
Well, previously he'd been forced to resign twice. This is now the 3rd time. The first time, I think, was in the first year of Labour getting in, and it turned out that he had accepted a loan so that he could buy a house of over £350,000 and hadn't declared it.
And the next one was much bigger, I remember.
Yes, it was a lot bigger. And then he was forced to resign.
I'd love to have a big house.
Then was
I'll deal with my small, derelict house.
He's been sacked a lot for his behaviour.
But he always gets back in, and we'll see if this latest sacking ends up sticking or not, because this one ties it all together back to Epstein, where it reveals that Peter Mandelson had a very, as we know now from the birthday book, had a very close relationship with Epstein. That was going back to 2003, so the latest all of that information from the birthday book would relate to is to 2003. We now have information through leaked emails from an old closed email address that Bloomberg and The Sun were able to get a hold of, that this relationship carried on until potentially at least 2013, which again, like Ehud Barak being friends with him in 2015, starting business deals with him, 2013 is 5 years after his original conviction. So that goes to show the kind of character that we're talking about here. So according to this article, Bloomberg News obtained more than 100 previously unreported emails between Epstein and Mandelson from 2005 through to 2010, casting new light on the relationship between the two. In an interview, because of course this news got out ahead, here's some more of the images that were released from the book. They sporadically put a few of these emails out through this. They've retyped them up. So this is one from 2008 when he was going through his original conviction, saying from Peter Mandelson to Jeffrey Epstein, saying, reminder, you're fighting back, so you need strategy, strategy, strategy. Remember the art of war. There's more of those dotted throughout here as well.
Yeah, that's what he got out of the art of war. Strategy, strategy, strategy. Okay. I guess, but I think it takes the art of the war to reading the art of war to fucking put that together.
I don't know exactly which island that he's referring to because Epstein owned a few, but I don't imagine that much good happened on any of them. A number of photos. Here's 2006. Jeffrey Epstein, male friend, clearly Mandelson, on island. Here's one 2006. I find it impossible to believe this is from Epstein to Mandelson, but the district attorney said yesterday that he'd got the facts wrong, so they were in constant close contact with this. About it all, Mandelson
I'd say the captain's dead.
ahead of the story on Wednesday morning in an interview with The Sun, expressing remorse for his relationship, saying, I have a tremendous sense of regret, not only that I met him in the first place, but that I continued the association, and I took at face value the lies that he had fed me and many others. So he was just convinced by Epstein's legendary charisma that
this isn't a casual relationship in the slightest.
No. This is a very, very close relationship.
This is a best pal, as
yes.
He put it in his own words.
Yeah, he said he knew that these emails were going to come out and they're going to be embarrassing. After Bloomberg approached Mandelson seeking comment, some published numerous excerpts from the emails and reported that Mandelson did not dispute the veracity of the messages. So he knows he has not claimed that there is anything that is a lie in here that has been made up. Mandelson has not said anything to refute the accuracy of these emails. So here's one of the most interesting ones. The day before Epstein reported to Florida jail in June 2008 to begin serving time for soliciting sex from a minor, bear in mind with that conviction, he pled guilty. This was not a jury trial in which the amount of evidence was weighed so heavily against him that he was put away by jury or by a judge. This was a guilty plea. He received an outraged message from a friend anguished at the injustice of it all. I think the world of you, and I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened, Peter Mandelson wrote. I can still barely understand it. It just could not happen in Britain. And to be fair, that's true, because we don't jail paedophiles in Britain for some reason.
Jimmy Sevilla, really.
Given the sweetheart deal that he was given, Costa was told that he belonged to a
Prince Andrew never hung out with Epstein, that's a lie.
Regarding that.
There for the world.
Sentenced down to, I think it was 12 or 18 months.
What is this? What am I collecting? Tritium.
Have to be at the cell all that often, so he wasn't really put in prison. And yet Peter Mandelson still felt absolutely outraged at the grave that had been done to his friend.
So looking back now, it is bizarre. Now I think
Bad gold, silver.
Teflon Mandelson was under the last Labour government, and he kept on racking up titles. So I just checked.
He's a lord, yes.
Secretary of State for Trade and Industry, Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, Secretary of State of Business Innovations and Skills, First Secretary of State, Life Peerage, European Commissioner, Privy Councillor. I mean, honestly, wouldn't be surprised to wait. You wouldn't have been surprised one morning to wake up under the last Labour government to discover that he'd been made an archbishop. I mean, this guy just got everything handed to him. And looking at that in respect of this, I'm wondering, what was he a conduit? Was he just too useful? Was there something else?
He does seem to be a political survivor, and he does seem to have a lot of utility for people in power. Bear in mind, again, we're what, 10 days into the new government reconvening again?
Oh, it's phase 2.
Yeah, we're in phase 2 now, and he'd been made back in February ambassador to Washington.
The only actionable thing I've seen in phase 2 is
Haven't been in a space station in a while.
I don't know if it is more phase 2.
I mean, they also lost Angela Rayner.
Oh, yeah, Angela Rayner and Mandelson have gone
within 10 days.
Yes,
impressive numbers. Finally, as part of this, as part of a similar June 2008 email, he said to Epstein, regarding his jail time. You have to be incredibly resilient, fight for early release, and be philosophical about it as much as you can. The
Okay.
whole thing has been years
Need
of
help?
torture.
Sure, here you
and
go.
You have to show the world how big a person you are and how strong. Your friends stay with you and love you. This is after a guilty plea to soliciting sex with a minor. There is extra information held within these emails that Bloomberg reports on, including the fact that Mandelstam and Epstein seem to have been organizing a number of suspicious meetings with somebody who had only been referred to as Mr. Big at the same time, with Lefke, who, if I remember correctly, is an attorney called Lefkowitz. Yes, Jay Lefkowitz, who was one of Epstein's best defense lawyers. So there are a number of meetings set up between Mr. Big and Lefkowitz, who I believe, it says here, yes, as well, Lefkowitz had been a senior advisor to former US President George W. Bush's administration as well. So again, connections everywhere. There is also an extensive connection and contact made with JP Morgan Chase and Co. throughout all of this, but that is somewhat outside of the remit of this segment, because now let's take a look at the consequences for
$75 million to increase storage.
For the first time in his now 3 resignations,
I only got 400 million units.
Himself.
600 million. Okay, maybe I can afford it.
Officially been sacked as ambassador to Washington. Yes. The Prime Minister asked the Foreign Secretary to withdraw Peter Mandelson as ambassador. The Foreign Office released a full statement stating
75 million per.
information in emails written by
Damn, son.
Prime Minister has asked the Foreign Secretary to withdraw him as ambassador. The email showed that the depth and extent of Peter Mandelson's relationship with Epstein is materially different from that known at the time of his appointment. In particular, Mandelson's suggestion that Jeffrey Epstein's first conviction was wrongful and should be challenged as new information. In light of that, and mindful of the victims of Epstein's crimes, he has been withdrawn.
Can't upgrade it. Why is it the best ship ever?
This is putting more pressure on Starmer's government. Again, not only has he lost Angela Rayner, in quick succession now he's lost Mandelson.
Whoa, what? Multi-tool, what?
As pointed out, seems to be a very useful political creature to have on your side. There is now a temporary ambassador, I believe Jay Roscoe has been appointed as temporary ambassador to Washington. Who knows who they're going to put.
Kill 4 sentinels, don't gotta fucking tell me twice.
This has also raised a lot of questions about the relationship between the between the people who vetted him in the first place, because he seems to have had a strong relationship with McSweeney, who was the one who vetted him.
Okay, I gotta offload this data somewhere. Is that what that is?
That the government has admitted to basically already knowing about how
Soda.
his relationship with Epstein had been, even keeping in contact after the original 2008 conviction. So, is it simply the severity of the relationship which has made them reconsider? The fact that he thought it was wrong? What addition has this made that has pushed them over the edge? Or is it simply that now that this is a public matter that everybody knows about, it makes them look bad and they're trying to save their own skin? Because I can't imagine that Labour were really wringing their hands about all of this before Bloomberg and the Sun were reporting on it.
Who are the men picked for scraps amongst the ruins at the end of history?
It's a Fedorine. Oh my god, please let me just change this before he says Fedorine. Like the fucking Maharaja, bro, or the secret magic casters that can't cast magic or do anything or change anything for the good. Yes. Big boot. Big giantess. The Rogan sphere is more desperate and depraved than ever. Yeah, baby. Too lazy to try. He's got some new shit. Give me that too lazy, baby.
Me and you are gonna pimp an OnlyFans page.
We're gonna pimp So we're gonna be an OnlyFans content creators pimps?
Pimps or managers or producers, whatever, but pimps is a more accurate word. What we're gonna do is we're gonna find someone, a fan of ours, who has no OnlyFans presence at all.
Very little.
I'd say none. I'd say none.
Well, none. Well, that means do they have a channel? You got to have someone that's.
I think it's better if we take a virgin flower.
Someone who's like, I've not even thought of doing this, and we're like, you should be a whore.
All right, so Bert Kreischer continues to get more desperate since falling off. Now his next big career move is to talk someone into sex work so he can be their pimp, which Tom actually isn't opposed to. He just thinks talking somebody into it probably isn't very appropriate. You know, he'd rather find somebody already involved. But Bert's been floating this idea around to someone that works for him. He seriously asked one of his employees how much he needed to get paid to start an OnlyFans, which creeped out all of his other employees and resulted in a giant fight. So then Bert started freaking out about how he has a content house. He seriously says that. This 50-year-old man is calling his house a content house.
No, someone who's got like a low-key presence. I
think a low-key presence.
Okay,
I think he's somebody who's already doing it.
Okay.
So that you're not like going like, you should sell your bot. Like they should be already doing it.
Okay. So we'll take a low-key presence.
Okay.
And then we will simply manage their account.
Okay.
We will help them build a following.
Promote the shit out of them.
Promote the shit out of them. But we take a very small cut.
Okay.
Now, my original pitch was to Rachel, who works in my office. My original pitch, and it got shut down by every woman in here, and I had a fucking fight about how this is a content house, and this is fucking different than everything you fucking know. I am so tired, Tom, of women talking to me like they're fucking, you know what? It's like
equals. I get it.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, so Bert has a content house, and I think he calls it that because he's been watching a lot of streamers recently.
Yeah, he's watching fucking Pokemon and whatever. Bing Bong.
He's just the worst. You know, everyone hates him. But of course, Bert thinks what he's doing is
Jack
brilliant.
Doherty.
I mean, Bert has to be one of the only people that's ever said something.
David
positive
Dobrik.
about him. And I know Bert has said a lot of stupid shit over the years, but like this comment says, him calling Jack Doherty a genius has to be one of the top 3 dumbest things he's ever said. And I think Bert might have gotten this OnlyFans manager idea from him because that's what he does. And Bert talks about how much money him and other streamers make. So he might have been inspired by Jack Doherty. How sad is that?
The most brilliant universe that ever existed in the entire world. The group that is Kai Cenat and Drewski and Aiden Ross and Jack Doherty and all these streamers who...
Are you calling them the most brilliant people in the history of the world?
Do they make... How much does Kai Cenat make?
It doesn't make you a genius.
What they make. I don't say that, like...
Buddy, what a cheat code. The guys figured out how to make 160...
By appealing to a bunch of 14-year-olds. Like, what do you want?
Dude, he makes more money than, like...
So I think Bert probably wants to get involved in streaming too, along with the pimp game. You know, since his comedy career is kind of fading, the podcast views are down. He's not selling his.
This is exotic as fuck.
How many times people want to pay to see Bert take his shirt off, and it seems like that's all he can come up with because now his new bit is to just pay girls to take their shirts off. You know, very original stuff. So Bert decided to pitch the idea of running an OnlyFans account for one of his employees at his content house, but it wasn't received very well.
We're on a podcast, so we're gonna have to edit it out because someone got uncomfortable. By the way, they're listening to this downstairs and they're fucking getting uncomfortable again. Someone got uncomfortable. Not Rachel. I said, what's your price point for me to buy your OnlyFans? Where, like what would be like if I said $100,000 a year, and then we run an OnlyFans for you in the office? Like, what's your buyout? Like, what if it's $500,000 a year? What if it's $1 million a year? Would you? And she was like, "Oh, $1 million a year, yeah." I go, "You gotta get naked." She goes, "No, that's fine. $1 million a year." And then, you know, there's so many women in this house, and they're like, HR violation. And I was like, "Guys, we're creating content. We're not being real right now. She's not really starting a fucking OnlyFans page. We're just creating content. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck this house. Fuck Pretty Boy. I'm taking it to your mom's house. They're fucking outlaws."
And Tom is probably just thinking about how much money is in this. You know, like Andrew Tate, he made hundreds of millions of dollars doing this kind of thing. And Tom is a fan of his, and he was one of the first people to have him on his podcast. So he definitely realizes there's a lot of money in this. Like, also, he started that podcast on his network that's hosted by a former Playboy model, and that did pretty well right when it first started, at least. I mean, it's definitely tapered off, but now I think the next step for YMH might be to get involved in the sex work industry. I mean, Bert sounds like you probably do most of the work for him. You know, he sounds really excited about this, and to go through all the submissions.
I understand that we're kind of turning into producers, but But like, what if we took someone, promoted their OnlyFans,
and kind of
managed them?
Yeah,
Bring them on the
that's
pod.
an idea.
Bring on the pod. I mean this with humility, but I think my career speaks for itself. I think the average person running an OnlyFans isn't looking at it as a white space. They're looking at it as, I just gotta send pictures of my tits or my feet. I gotta fart in a jar or whatever. I think. Do you remember the one in the race car where the girl's tits are jiggling? Like, what if we helped her create the content where the tit came out? Like, to create the content that doesn't dick tease you, it sells it, and then you post it online, and you go for full video. Go to OnlyFans. So yeah, that's my OnlyFans pitch to you.
What do you guys think? How do we field Bert's submissions? Which email, guys?
2bears1cave@gmail.com, and also feel free to DM the YMH Studios Instagram page.
And DM me too. I don't want to see them. Oh, I need to log into them. Yeah.
The YMH Studios email account. We could just pull submissions from that. You're gonna get bombarded, dude.
I can't wait.
Okay.
My testosterone is way too high. I'm jerking off twice a day.
So these two are down bad, but somehow over at The Fighter and the Kid, it's an even sadder scene. Like, they recently finally decided to start a Patreon. For some reason, they waited until they hit rock bottom to start one, and it's like they don't know what to do on there. Like, they're just throwing out random ideas, and the only thing Brian can come up with is teaching self-defense classes and flashing his balls. Like, whenever they try to advertise their Patreon to sell it, they bring up how Brian's about to expose his balls on there. You can see that for only $5 a month. So he's kind of using it as his OnlyFans. I guess these comedians have just run out of ideas, and now they're all getting involved in OnlyFans.
It's uncensored.
Get twice a month fan questions, behind the scenes content.
Dude, we got all sorts of tasty
like
content.
me teaching you guys self-defense on bread.
We're gonna put Brian's balls on there finally. People are asking.
$100 a month.
Speaking of advertising, how about our Patreon?
Am I allowed to show my balls on Patreon?
I did look it up, but it's a tricky territory.
I mean, if I just had my balls sitting out like this for no reason, because I'm trying to air them out, is that illegal on Patreon?
I'm gonna ask our Patreon guy, but I'm also gonna. I think it's worth just doing. And
I don't. Not to take this Patreon taken down. Definitely ask before we upload
especially
it.
my
But
balls.
what we would do is that clip that we have of Brian pulling out his nuts was blurred out. I think we just upload that clip uncensored.
I don't think we still have the raw of that.
Hey guys, my balls look way better now.
Yeah.
You know.
They get bigger with time.
Yeah.
We'll just upload a picture of your nuts on it. Like, this is what we're dealing with.
Good to just show my whole sets and see what I'm working with.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask about the balls thing and like.
Yeah, let's
porn.
not just upload it and then sabotage the Patreon. That's not worth it.
I mean, they're not gonna do it from the get-go, but they'll give us a warning. However, I'm with you. We'll ask them first. So, yeah, that and the porn stuff. I think we should be good.
And that seems like the only thing Brian's excited about doing on Patreon, along with the self-defense classes. But Brendan's making him do a Q&A on there next week, which I don't think he's too thrilled about. I mean, he's completely checked out of this podcast, you can tell. So it's mostly going to be Brendan coming up with stuff to do on Patreon. And obviously, his video ideas aren't much better. Like, he advertises it by talking about how it's going to be uncensored, and he's going to react to these gnarly, explicit videos. Kind of like what Tom Segura used to do on his podcast, which is really outdated now. But of course, Brendan thinks this is something people still want to see. I mean, reaction videos like this were kind of popular years ago. You know, there's a video of Rogan from 17 years ago reacting to disgusting videos. I bet Brendan probably just saw that recently and thought it'd be something he could do for Patreon. Like, he's trying to come up with anything he can. I mean, him and Brian advertise it by talking about how you can see Brian's balls and watch Brendan react to a video of a man getting to death by a horse. That's what they're up to on Patreon.
How about our Patreon?
Oh, dude.
Like deployed.
Dude, I just did the first fan Q&A.
Finger guns to you.
Q&A, great questions. No, for
Like, accepted. I appreciate it. Appreciate you. You're just amazing, Big Joe. Thank you. We're just gaming and listening to stuff.
Guys putting peanut butter on their weed, girls on their vajayjays. That's what we get into on the Patreon.
You never know.
You never know. It's patreon.com/TFATK. You get every show ad-free plus extended episodes.
Big Joe 603.
Brendan comes up with. You know, I think more people will subscribe to see Brian's balls than whatever the hell Brian's doing on there. But also, Brian might want to get permission from Bobby Lee first. You know, Bobby could think Brian is stealing his exposed.
Frigate modules. Oh my god.
It's at least more original than Brendan's idea, though. I'll give him that. But it's
This guy's
just so
giving
fun
out
to
fucking
see what
everything.
these guys are
What
up
the
to.
fuck?
You know, Tom and Burr are trying to find a girl to pimp out. Brian's pimping himself out, and Brennan's watching porn on Patreon. So Rogan needs to get these guys under control.
Fuck yeah.
But let me know what you think, and make sure you subscribe to keep
Oh,
updated.
fuck
and
yeah.
check out my Patreon. I know it's not as good as the Fighter and the Kids. I mean, I haven't revealed my balls on there. I know everybody's disappointed about that, but there are over 140 exclusive videos, and I've been covering how the Rogan sphere is the laughing stock of the comedy scene.
I haven't showed my balls, but
Duncan Trussell's losing his mind, and I covered Sam Hyde's crash out with Robin Williams and Joe Rogan's crash out.
the Galaxy Man. Let's see. So look
There's a
here.
lot of stuff over there. So
Specific
if you want to
planet.
check out, they'll be linked in the description.
Fuck does this motherfucker want? Motherfucking.
Hey everyone, as
Is
most of
that-
you
is
know,
that
this
it?
whole Terrence Howard business has sent the media world into a frenzy, with so many pundits wanting to get
This
some
is all,
clarity on
1 year ago. On what the fuck Terryology is. What the fuck is Terry? We have to be allies. Who the fuck is this ninja? Scammer payback. Okay. Kit Boga doing some shit. Samsung develops 512 gigabyte stick of RAM. Chrome. It's like I was made for this. I don't get the joke. Is Chrome 512 gigs? Carrying Furious after gas expansion collapses. Yeah, guys got a lot of. CV smashes into Richmond Hill daycare, killing one and injuring several others. Jesus Christ. Mass job loss. Rabid leftists are getting fired across the country. Okay. Prince of Darkness, yet illusionist. Okay, Ubuntu failed. Ubuntu's massive mistake. Blah blah blah. What's next? Charlie Kirk. Nepal elects first female prime minister by internet chat rooms. Okay, what the fuck? They elected an old lady. I'd like to read her policies. Inside the city, Canada forgot. Boring, boring, boring. Lame, lame, lame. Maybe I'll listen to Robot Head's rant on The Last Jedi. I don't know. Millions shelters, Yemeni missiles intercepted by Israel. Cool, cool, cool. I don't feel bad for the Yemenis. They fucking held up the Red Sea and global trade. You deserve what's coming to you. Sorry. Proof Charlie Kirk was terrified of Israel. Sure. Micro PC plus Linux and equals insanely good budget PC, but there's a catch. Okay. It's smaller than a graphics card, so it can't have a graphics card. Out of bounds secrets and Silent Hill. Okay. That's cool, I guess. Most hilarious. Frank Sloop traffic stops. Frank Sloop. What? Like a popular thousands fled London to honor Charlie Kirk. Yeah. Assassin neighbor exposes transgender line. Beloved octopus at aquarium. Civic spends final days caring for her eggs. Okay, cool. Beloved octopus. Brandon. Okay, this is malware. Blah blah blah. Cloudflare. Bad. Yeah. What else is new? Everything's fucking invasive malware now. What do we got? What do we got? Irina's killer may be unfit to stand trial. Classic. Oh, he's mentally unwell. Skill lower height. Israeli weapons in movies. Okay. Okay. I got it. D-Day, Ohio, 2025. Footage: Israeli airstrikes, building Gaza. Rich family loses it, then the whole family gets arrested. Borderlands 4, avoid these 10. Huge. I don't care. I'm not gonna play the fucking game anyway. Crosshair 870E Extreme blah blah ultimate motherboard guide. How do you understand and choose the best? Are you very cool? Yeah, you just go to logicalincrements.com and get a life. People have addressed the Conservative caucus on the eve of Parliament's return. Parliament returns tomorrow. Hello, 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 my babies. What you doing? Hello. Alright, I'm getting off here. I gotta get off here and spend time with my cat and exercise. Yeah, there's nothing really here that I'm looking to watch anymore. What am I doing with this? I would like to get those frigate parts. But frigate. I have to pee real bad. Okay, that I see where I gotta go. Okay, let's just go to that system and then I have to piss. I have to piss. I have to go to the system and piss. Yo. Yo. Like appreciated. Yeah. Did I change target again? Isn't it tab? Cycle shit with, oh my fucking god. Change targets with these buttons that are very inconvenient. How about the targets that are right fucking next to me? How about those exist? Those options? Am I hitting the cat fucking attack me? Great. Trying to help these guys out here. Trying to get off this fucking game here. I'm coming. I'm coming, get there. Come on, come on. Yeah, what up, dog? You're welcome. Welcome aboard. Get there. Let's go talk to this guy, see if he'll give me something. Nice, park right in the middle of this fucking air. Yeah, baby. Adjutant. Juking people. Yo, what up, dog? Just give me a payment, bro. I don't want your fucking freighter. I got a freighter. I got the Event Horizon. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck this. Bye.